Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Diergo207, if I could spit it out in English. It's here with you. Happy, what's today? Wednesday. Happy hump day to y'all. Howdy, Wisconsin Rail Productions. Welcome back. Hope y'all are doing well. It's been a beautiful day here. Was outside most of the day. Day drinking. I woke up today and the sun spoke to me and it said, grab a beer. It's a good day. Nope, just didn't have much to do today. Went and showed off the car, the Ford Focus that I'm selling, and another person, once again, blew me off. Didn't message me saying, "Oh, hey, by the way, I bought a car, so don't bother coming out on Wednesday for our scheduled meeting." Nope, didn't think to message me that. So yeah. Anyways, so we're back here once again. In Kaldvann. Probably be one of the last streams that I do with this. I thought I was going to have the Care Basset by now. I think Ethan, he announced to me last night he's getting burnt on it. So, I should have that soon, so I guess one of my next few streams will be with the Care Basset. But I figured tonight, I hadn't streamed in a day or two, so let me go ahead and get on tonight. We're here in Hasvik, on the main road leading out of town, towards the Sea Road. Actually, that's a Sea Road up the way. But we're looking at the mountain range just up behind. I forget the name of this mountain off the top of my head. It's not really named anything particularly catchy. Let me see if I have a note that might talk about this mountain. Highest mountain. I can't pronounce that. Not right now. But anyways, so nice little evening here as we look at the town. Still kind of in need of some love. I haven't quite gotten over here in a while to do texture work and plant some trees. The town's going to have quite a few trees, at least in it, but I haven't quite gotten back to it in a hot minute. Neither to work on the port itself either, but still quite a nice little scene, especially with the mountains over there. And then, of course, if you look over here, you can see the smokestack of the power plant off in the distance, the off-ramp for the B6, the little gas station over there. And just behind those hills, you can, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's supposed to be an antenna just up over that way. That's Trondheim. And, of course, there's the bridge that leads out of town on the A13. So we crest the hill, you can see the city lights off in the distance. As I approach, I can feel the lag kicking up. So we are here. Let me go ahead and I will show you what we were working on last time. Of course, that church didn't flicker. Maybe that building was just a touch darker in this building right here. Like, why is that so fucking bright? Holy hell. They weren't so bright. It would maybe look just a little better, but you make do with what you have, I suppose. But anyhow, so this is what I was working on last time. Was just finishing up with this scene here. Kind of got everything situated. I still need to do like some retaining wall isms over here, and then get this kind of touched up so maybe that's hidden a little bit, the jaggedness of the top of the retaining wall. I'll see what I can do there. I kind of started over here just a little bit, but I gotta do a little more work to kind of make that blend a little more. But yeah, I got that pretty much all done up. I didn't really do much work to the station. Station is still relatively the same. I did drag the tunnels out, though, so the tunnels are drug out at this point. And they come under the city here, then make a nice left turn under Northern Field to kind of spit out over here on the other side of town. They pop out back here in this trench, and they run up this way, kind of jaunt around a little bit. And I'm going to be building a train station here on the backside, which I think would be important. Just because the shopping mall is right here, or the shopping district, and I think would also be important for the residents of the Marienburg neighborhoods. What continent is it based on? It's actually it's North American technically, but it's situated off the coast of Newfoundland, Labrador, um, kind of near oh, I forget exactly. I think it's Black Tickle. That is literally the town name. I know the coordinates are. I believe I set it to. Should be like a something up here. Yep, there it is. So if you're to look up these coordinates, it's at latitude 5557.2 north and longitude 5629.2 west. So it's in the Labrador Sea, basically. So it's off the coast of Canada, um, but it is a former Norwegian colony. Um, that is the world origin point. I have it just kind of situated up here on the mountain. I wonder if actually I could just lower that. I can. But this is our tallest peak here. I think this is this peak taller right here? 1431. Ah, yes, that is actually the tallest of the two peaks. So that is our tallest peak right there, looking down upon everything. A little hazy up here, though, but besides the point. So anyways, so that was that. I didn't get too much further with the work over here. I did kind of curve the rail line a little bit on this side, so the rail line no longer goes under the highway, so I get to do some more terrain work and touch that back up. But it now curves this way, and what I've planned for it to do is it's going to tunnel. A caucus space route forbid. I think you should, honestly. But it's going to tunnel out under here. It's probably going to pop out somewhere on this side, or it might just stay in a tunnel, might come out in a small cut, go back through, come out once again, stay up high, slightly curve. It's going to be level with the terrain here, and then it's going to come through town. There'll be a station probably somewhere right here. I am going to kind of flatten the terrain out so it's not so wonky. So there'll be a stop here in Hamren, and whatever that town happens to be over there. But the work I have been doing has been a lot of coastal work over here. And as you can see now, we have a pretty well-defined coastline along the northwestern edge of the map. We actually have the ocean kind of wrapping around. I need to do a little more work with the water kind of along the way. There's no islands here. I actually need to go through and retouch all my islands here because I want it to look a lot more like this island that I just constructed. This is the newest addition to Kaldvann, as I kind of get everything situated and such. So I did anticipate an island being over here off the coast of this little peninsula, whatever you want to call it. This weird peninsula, which I still need to kind of tweak and edit. Kind of make a little more of a natural beach line right here. Maybe kind of have it come off this way, and then be curved back down over here. So not so jagged in a lot of the areas. But I created this island here, which this took me forever. This took me many, many hours of the night, and of course I want to expand the coastline out so you can't see the edge of the map from where you're sitting. How high into the mountains is it going to go? So I guess real quick, I'll talk about that, then I'll come back to this island. So basically, for those who don't know, and maybe this is your first time viewing the Kaldvann, so the plan is this. So this whole mountain range pretty much spans the whole way down. If I could get a little closer. It pretty much spans the whole length of the island. The island is about yay big. I actually stole this. This is a section of Iceland. This dem here. This is basically Iceland. It looked and felt the most of what I was looking for, and I was not about to create a country by hand as I first anticipated, because that's a monumental task, and I would legit be there forever. I could do it. It would just take a long time. So I stole a section of Iceland, and the plan is this. So this is a former French and Norwegian colony, very similar to maybe how St. Martin works. St. Martin is a dual Dutch and French colony, even to this day. Um, so the Norwegian colony is a lot of this section's up here, and the former French colony, which came later, would run from this lake here, and they would follow the river and basically portions south along that. This is the Castine, the former Castine colony. This is the former Castine, the French capital, which I'm still working on right now. It's the other big city, since of course this was the French capital. This was the big city for them, and it's since developed over time. A little more westernized. So there's going to be a few more skyscrapers than per se the other city, Trondheim. The rail line will come down to here. There will be a rail line that spans across this strait over here. You'll see this drawbridge once again. There's going to be a big port down over here, and then the other international airport for the French colony will be down over here. The airport. I forget how to say it in French. My French sucks. The rail line will then run this way along the southern coast, stopping in towns along the way, and so on and so forth. There will be branch lines that will kind of tuck back up into the mountain range areas, as there is mining operations. I don't know if there's many opportunities to cross the range. Particularly, this is one area that we can cross to get to the other side. The big issue is just getting there. Because this is very mountainous. This is definitely one area where I could see perhaps a major road and the rail line coming through. It will have to kind of come up and over this, so we will kind of have to work with that. I believe there's a waterfall somewhere around here, or a series of rapids and waterfalls. Yeah, probably like somewhere right here. But like I said, as you can see, it's very unforgiving terrain, even up here by the lakes. So, like, it's going to be a bitch to cross this. It might involve some tunneling, but then coming down this side, that's going to be the real problem, is figuring out how to get down this side. And this is just a maybe. Like, I don't know if we can do this. Yes, there is a very, very big terrain difference. Like, this lake sits up here, and then it just straight drops. So the highway definitely could probably pass through there, but getting a railroad's going to be the problem. So the railroad's going to kind of stick along the coasts. So there's going to be a southern route that kind of loops around this tall mountain, and it will connect up. I have some of it built. It will connect up over here. I also have to create the coastline over here because some of the dam kind of got cut off. But the railroads rarely, if ever, will go into the mountains. They'll run alongside them, but they rarely, if ever, will go into them because the terrain is so unforgiving. Because a lot of this is volcanic, or dormant volcanoes. So it's very early, very rough. I've been working heavily on some of the cities and such. I probably should go ahead and maybe figure out what the rail line is going to do, but I've just been so preoccupied with other work that I haven't quite gotten there. Yeah, so the rail line will come this way. So this is kind of the southern road here, and it comes along, comes through a couple of tunnels and such. Out over here, hooks left, comes across a big old bridge right along the coastline, and then it gets ready to cross the Narrows once again. Big road bridge over here for, I think is the B43, the highway that passes through here. And this is where the other rail line meets at the North Road. The North Road will probably, I need to get it underneath this, so I think it's going to curve here, or probably a little further back, and it's going to probably come under here, and head the north way, and head up towards some of the other towns and cities along the way. And it's this road is probably going to stick along the coast because, again, going through the mountain ranges is gonna be suicide. But again, there'll be industrial spurs. There'll be spurs that link up to some small towns to bring resources. Because the best mode of transportation is in this country is by train, especially for freight. So, like right here, you're gonna have another kind of coastal run where the train line is up above the ocean, but it's running on like a seawall. And then over here, it's going to get a little interesting because it's going to wrap back around. It's hard to like differentiate like where the coast is and where there's some islands, but it's going to wrap around here and head this way and just really hug the coast. Um, there'll be, like I said, opportunities for it to dip inland and kind of like it can go this way, so it can kind of cut by the coast, doesn't have to stick along it. Um, but yeah, be mining operations up in there, so it's gonna be a very interesting route to navigate through, in particular. So it doesn't really go through the mountains, which is kind of shitty because I was hoping for some like mountain running. Would have provided for some cool scenes and stuff. There might be some opportunities. I will think of a couple ways to maybe get some trains to go through the mountains, but these mountains really, 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 really aren't meant for running. Um, that's kind of the big issue is getting them through here. Um, so yeah, kind of coastal trains. That's what we're looking at. But there'll be plenty to do. Particularly in a lot of areas, it's also very flat. So you'll definitely see a lot of high-speed trains or high-speed running as well. Like the section heading to the French colony, like this is all flat. This is just miles and miles and miles of flat. So this will be a lot of farming country and just basic running. Nothing real too interesting. Small towns to stop in, service, some industrialisms going on. But this is a lot of flat. Just flat. So anyways, so that's that. But so what we're working on today is over here in the northwest corner, this little island here. I just built this maybe a couple nights ago, and I spent quite a bit of time working on it. Um, so the rail line coming out of Trondheim that passes through downtown, the freight line that comes around there is gonna eventually spur off over here. Um, It'll also link into the pasture line and such, and the pasture line will hook in and come across this bridge as well. And this bridge is a very important artery across the way. As it is officially the last stop on the line. There's a train station here. But there's a pretty big industry out here referred to by people who live in the country as the tanks. And these are the tanks here. I'm not entirely done establishing the tanks, but there's a lot of offshore drilling platforms that I might plop one or two. There's not really a lot of assets for them in particular. Let me actually see if did I download them? Oil rig. Because I don't really know if there's like any. Yeah, like these are some of the best assets that we have. Like that one's not bad. It's not terrible. That one's okay. They get the job done though, and especially for a faraway asset, it's not gonna matter. But a lot of the ways, or there's two main ways that oil rigs get the crude oil to the coast, and one of those two ways is piping them. They pipe them under the ocean floor to some tanks offshore or onshore. I'm sorry. They pipe them to tanks onshore and they get stored there. Now, a lot of this oil is oil that's going to be going to be refined. There will be, I think, a refinery or two in Kaldvann. I've never built an oil refinery, so this is going to be rather interesting. Like, this is one industry that I used to drive by one every single day when I lived in Illinois, but I don't really know how they work. So it's going to be a learning process for me. But they are quite a decent bit away. They're quite a ways away. So a lot of this oil will be loaded onto trains and hauled away. So there will be a rail yard, a bigger one, because the Kaldvann National does not have a rail yard yet. So they will have one probably over here, which the rail line will pass through both ways, the passenger and the freight. The freight rail line it'll probably actually be here, probably on this side then, because actually this will be the side that the freight line hits. So they'll probably be here. This will probably be along this coastline, and The passenger line will then come in this way and then hook into. There'll be a station probably here, and there'll be another station. I think you saw the platforms over here um, for this little town. As there is an airport over here, a small airport, granted, but has a big enough runway for some smaller aircraft, but it is still vital for the residents for that airport. So, there's other airports nearby. There's Trondheim Lufthaven, or Trondheim Centrum Lufthaven, and there is Trondheim International Lufthaven, um, which is the big airport over in Krigerhaven. Um, but this area is referred to, I believe. I think the island itself is referred to as Steinete Bukt or Rocky Bay. I don't think this town. I haven't quite got this town figured out. It's gonna be a very small, just a very quaint little. Hi, Toby. You're a cat. Oh, hello. You meow. Hello. Hold on, my cat demands attention. What is all this? No. Oh, you're being too good. Um, I haven't quite named this town, but the town's gonna be very quaint. It's gonna be basically one street, top of the hill, probably a church that will be here. It's probably gonna go downhill quick. Road along the waterfront, just some houses and stuff scattered around, and there'll probably be a small fishing port. And there'll be a couple of areas over here for larger commercial oil tankers to come in and pick up the oil and go. This is a big export area for oil. Um, not a lot of tankers come in, but this oil is generally bound for Europe. A lot of the oil bound for the U.S. is shipped out of elsewhere. Um, Hello, Toby. All right. One of the companies that I've stolen from the Lego universe, Octan. This is probably their port, and this would be their tanks since they're the official oil company on Kaldvann. Um, so they would generally be dealing with this, being in my world, a pseudo Norwegian company or owned by a Norwegian corporation. Um, they would be piping, or these boats generally be heading back to Norway or at least Scandinavia for whatever. Jesus, Toby, did you rub your face up against my cup? Ugh. Second time I went to go take a sip and I got a cat hair. Yuck. Anyways, but this is the whole of the island. It took a long time to get at least the shape done, and I know I have some steep coastlines. I gotta kind of hide that a little bit, but it came out quite nice. Very kind of just northern. It has a very northern feel to it and how it looks. Like even this little area over here, just with the little splotches of land, turned out quite nice. But it's not quite done. There'll be kind of houses just dotted all over, just loosely strewn about. Probably some dirt roads or just little paved paths, little bridges that lead everywhere. Um, this road's gonna have to come kind of parallel this runway. Probably bridge across this little area, and then maybe hook around the end of the runway, which I'll have to deal with the approach lighting, which actually I should probably just get that in now. I'll just get that in now. But I am quite excited to build this island. Just a little bit of a break from working on Trondheim, as like Ethan, who's getting burnt out with the Carabasset, I'm slightly getting burnt on Kaldvann, which is why I broke out over here. I just needed to renew my interest in the project just a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be totally burnt out. Um, yeah. Be nice if like those pillars would have been like a little bit extended, but I guess not. Although I do appreciate that like the only one that I have to kind of like worry about being too noticeably floating is this one. But yeah, I'll have to do something about the steepness of the islands here, and I'm just gonna hide that because yeah, these are very steep. Does not have a good look to it. Wow, and was that ocean floor was that low? But anyways, so yes, the road will probably come in between these lights here, and then kind of come up back behind, and the terminal itself will probably be right about here. Probably be some hangars back up off this way and whatever, but I'm getting a little too much into the airport side of things. I do kind of want to work on the town today and get this little community established. So to kind of jump in, so this little community is going to be kind of centered around this hill. Um, like I stated, there will be an intersection up here. I'm going to kind of flatten the hill out to kind of allow that to happen. Um, and then it'll come back down here. I will kind of have to do work with these houses and their foundations, as it will drive me crazy otherwise. I've done it once, and I will do it again. I will actually go in and put foundations on every single building, as I am that crazy. I did it over here in Oya. It was, oh yeah, back here. So that's a wall that goes around these buildings to give them a foundation. And then I put steps on the backside of every one of these houses to give them access. This building needed, a concrete slab till, because otherwise it'd be floating. Then I created this cool little alley. Oh, we're on the ground. Yeah, like up here, that's a whole different level. Like, this whole area was just different levels. Like, this building had all sorts of different levels and had the under part, like the overpass, and the hill coming up here, which these bother me, but I'll probably change the splines at some point. Then it comes down over here. Like, the splines just need to be changed, and all like that needs to be changed. They bother me so much. That was all I had at the time. Um, so that's my excuse. And once I change them, I'll just curve them and connect them through this intersection. Um, but yeah, like there's so many different levels in just that area. So that is something I'm gonna have to do on the island. Is kind of pay attention to the levels and just kind of work with them. So again, just because I am that crazy, but I'm not gonna. Maybe I don't know if I'll do that this episode. Probably not. Just because again, I don't think that's anything you guys would enjoy watching, but who knows. So we'll get to work on that. A lot of what I'm doing here is just kind of putting small townhouses and some businesses, and yeah, just kind of going from there. But yeah, I hope, like I said, you guys are all doing well. Hope you're having a good beginning half of your week. My week's been it's been okay. It's been all right. Um, yeah, it's been okay. There's nothing really going on lately. It's just been the beginning of the week. Low key. I'm kind of in need of vacation, to be honest with you. Like, I just need to go somewhere and get out of here. Um, I really need to get my passport. I really need to go do my taxes. I need to do a lot of things that I've been neglecting to do because, heaven forbid, I be a fucking adult. Um, okay, that's going to need to be leveled out. This is the peak of the hill anyway, so I'm going to probably level it here. But no, I just straight up need to just take a vacation, go somewhere, do something. Like, I need something because it's been a struggle lately. I've been struggling. I think work has been a little too much. I had that funeral last week for my boss for his mother. Um, which hey, I would absolutely help out with again. The weekend of the 24th, so not this Friday, but next Friday, I have to cater a wedding. I don't normally work Fridays. I'm taking that Thursday off, so it'll kind of offset my working week. So So I'll work 2, off 2, work 1, off 2, work 2. Then I'm off Wednesday, work Thursday, July 1st I'm off, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th I'm off, and hopefully, with some luck, I will go see my sister in New York City at her new apartment in Bushwick, because I think she could really use the company. I know she could use the company because she's expressed to me that she could use the company. My brother was supposed to go see her, um, but the girl he's talking to, they kind of. I don't even know myself, Toby. I mean, he just meowed at me, and like I can't figure it out. But get over here. You're a cat. Um, but no, like I don't really know what their big deal is, but they were supposed to both. Yeah, they were supposed to both go to New York together, and they got into a little bit of a tizzy or a disagreement, and now they're not. Like, whatever it was kind of dumb. But my brother allowed what was going on with this girl to dictate what he was going to do with his family. And I'm not really particularly happy. Yes, I'm not happy myself, Toby. Um, darn cat. I know. Hello. What are you meowing so much for, buddy? There's 24 hours in a day, and you pick the times I'm live streaming to meow at me. Um, but anyways, so I don't particularly like that he's allowing what happens with this girl to dictate with how he interacts with his family. Um, Especially the fact that's like whatever they're going through, it's kind of affecting him come hanging out with us. Like I don't know, but anyways, so like he was supposed to be in New York, he didn't go. She's sad because like she could use the company as I've just previously expressed, and like he didn't go. And I'm not gonna lie, I said I'm mad at him for that. Not mad, that's kind of the wrong word, but I wish he would have gone because I think it would have been awesome for him and his sister to hang out together. And like, there's 12 years between the two of them. You know, um, he was born real late. She was obviously the first child in the family, between my aunt and my mom and stuff like that. Um, but like, he didn't really get to know her much growing up because she obviously was. By the time he was growing up and interacting with us, she was moving out. Because he comes along, she's already 12. And by the time he's 8, she's already 20. Did I do my math correctly? Yeah, I did math. I think. Yeah, I did math. Yeah, yeah. Why do I question myself? Yeah, Jaden, why do you question yourself? Now I'm talking to myself, and that's just lame. But anyways, so yeah, he didn't really get to know her. So I think it would have been really cool. And like they've been kind of establishing a relationship, brother and sister and stuff like that, and getting to know each other more, and like actually like bonding. And that's big. Like, and my sister's really happy about that because like again, she has this whole ass brother, and she doesn't really even know him because like, hey, you can't handle the door being open. It's being closed. Sorry, my cat's clawing the screens. Sorry, I didn't mean to shout at y'all, but heard his claw go into a screen, and that's not cool. He clearly can't handle the door being open. It's the only thing about cats is you really can't train them. So you gotta just have to shout and make obscene sounds and so on and so forth. But anyways, so they just kind of been establishing this brother and sister bonding experience, and I think it would have helped a lot if he had gone to New York, and and even if he'd brought this girl along, like I think it still would have been awesome, even to have her there. And I think that would have been really great, and it would have allowed my sister to get to know this girl too, and like it would have been great for all of them. But he got in a little bit of a tizzy with her or whatever's going on. I don't know the logistics. Um, I know he's explained them to me, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm not going to try and repeat them because I don't know. But he didn't end up going, and that broke my heart because I'm like, that would have been awesome for you and her to have had that. Him and her being him and my sister and stuff like that. That would have been great for you to have gotten that chance to just bond and be brother and sister. That's something that her and I got because we grew up together. But he doesn't get that. So yeah, it bothered me, and I and yeah, it sucks. And it's not eating my sister up too much, but like I said, she wishes he would have gone, but it is what it is. He's gonna be a 17-year-old, and that's just that. But I can't says I'm particularly happy with that decision that he chose to stay. And I know like he doesn't have any way of getting there because like his car's a little broken, but like she was willing to pay to get him down there. I was willing to maybe help out as well, even though he owes me money. I want to put that aside right now and give him and my sister the opportunity to bond and be together and be brother and sister and such. And I think that would have been very, 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 very important. But I don't particularly think he exercised all his options. Um, he didn't choose to exercise all his options. So, wait, does that clock work on this building? Oh, I would have been kind of sick if it did. That's upsetting. It doesn't. Might actually end up using. It might be too low. Let me go look. How low is this? If it's too low for an end, that's gonna be low. It's gonna be way too low. Let's just put a. That barely fit. That is not enough clearance. That is uncomfortably close. That fits. Just want to get a train underneath it and see how that works. How's a tank car fit? Yeah, that's close. Ho. Yeah. So that doesn't work, which is sad because that's kind of a nice station. But anyways, I forgot what I was saying. Need a sip of my drink here. Hmm. Anyways, maybe I'll just put some residential over here. Yeah, let's put some residential. But yeah, anyways, like I said, it would have been nice, but he didn't. I don't believe he exercised all his options. Like I said, he owes me money for my car. He kind of didn't treat it as well as I wish he would have, or as I instructed him to, and whatever. But the point being is like it's still his sister. I still wanted him to go. So like obviously I'm gonna put my differences with him aside to benefit both him and my sister, because that's important. That's family. That's what family does. When it comes to me and him, I'll hash that stuff out later, and whatnot. But he didn't really, whatever. He just figured, oh well, if she can't go, I have no way of getting there, so whatever. And he didn't pursue it any further. Which, like I said, I think it's shitty. He should have, but he didn't. So it is what it is at this point. You know, I wouldn't say it's not worth saying anything about, but it ain't gonna do me any good talking about it because, well, it's already said and done. I am gonna go ahead and right at level. This is fine, yeah. Establish a little bit of a road down here, or at least a level, kind of like a whatever you want to call this. I don't really know what you want to call it, but just something like a low area for this town. So that way, it could be a road down here and some houses, like maybe a little bit of a wall. I know it's low. It's very, very low, but this is kind of what I want. Just a road that comes down, some buildings on it, and then the corner. I just punched that. Ow. It's going to be interesting getting this down the hill, especially a road at the angle we're at. So, I will leave a little bit of an alleyway in there. But yeah, anyway, so me personally, like I said, it's been a long week, enough to enough bitching about my brother and my sister, because it's not gonna do me, like I said, any good to complain about it anymore, because not much else I can say or do to fix the situation, except just kind of encourage my brother next time just to go. But anyways, so yeah, it's been a long week here. I still gotta go to work tomorrow, and yeah, it's been something. It's been something lately. So, it's actually a cook there. I guess I'll talk about this incident. So we have a cook at the restaurant I work at, and I don't think there's really a nice way to put it. He just sucks. Not at his job. Like, he's not a bad cook. He just, ethic-wise, sucks. Like, he just... I don't really know what his issue is. He just isn't very good at a lot of things. Like, here's one. Showing up to work. He's not very good at that. Staying your whole shift at work. Not very good at that either. Yeah, he's not very good in the work ethic. He's lazy. When he first started working there, his first paycheck. Now, mind you, this guy lived? Question mark. He either lives or lived in a sober house. I'm not entirely sure what his status on that is. I also don't care what his status is on that, because it's not my life. But he either lives or lived in a sober house, and his first paycheck, he blew the whole thing on alcohol at the restaurant, and it was getting much. Like, he was getting too obnoxious and rowdy, and every time he'd come in, and he would come in often to get drunk, he would start going out back in the kitchen, or he'd start getting in my way, and he just become too much. Especially to the point where, like, the bartender would ask him to leave, And like the owner, he was like, oh, he's just, he's having fun, whatever. And it's like, no, like, he's annoying. He's getting in the way. Like, he has to go. And finally, like, I drove him, or like, he would tell us like, I live in a sober house, and it's like, okay, then why are you drinking? Like, if you live in a sober house, oh well, one doesn't hurt. Okay, well, it's not just one, buddy. And so like, it was this whole big thing, and so like, it finally, like, one day I had to take him home because he was not welcomed at the restaurant anymore. I was on the clock. I was at work, and he was just too much, too much, too much, too much. And then finally, like, he had to go. He had too much. He needed to get out of there, and so I ended up taking him. I actually dropped him off because like he didn't end up going home because he couldn't, like, because how can you show up to a sober house shit face? You can't. You can't show up to the sober the yeah. Maybe I'm drunk. You can't show up to the sober house shit faced. You just can't. So like he knew he couldn't go home, so he just had me drop him off somewhere. And at that point, like, I don't really care what happens to you at this point. Like, you're not my problem. Um, so yeah, I got to the point now, like, shift drinks can only be given at the end of your shift. Like, because of him, we had a lot of new rules come into play, and like, and fair, and like totally fair. Like, a lot of these are just common sense rules, but it sucks that they had to come into play in the first place. Like, because of this guy, like, now we all have to suffer, and like even me, it's like kind of working towards the end of my shift. Like, there's nothing else going on. It's like the last empty minutes and stuff like that. But I can't have a drink because, well, in all fairness, it's not the end of my shift. The end of my shift doesn't happen until 9 o'clock. So I have to wait precisely until 9 o'clock, which sucks because there's some nights where, like, we're done early. But we can't close yet because it's a little too early. But nothing happens until 9. It's like, I'm starting to close up. I would love to have my shift drink, but I can't because of the rule, because of this guy. So it's just kind of annoying. But again, a rule is a rule. I'm not going to contest the rule. It's a rule for a reason. Um, but long story short, so like, finally last night, one of the waitresses comes in. Just, I don't know why she came in. I think she just came in to say hello. Because we all just kind of pop in there. Like, I spend a lot of time there. Even on my day off, I go down because, like, that's my hangout. That was where I was hanging out before I got my job there. So, like, if I didn't have much to do, I'd go down to the restaurant and the bar and just chill and chat with the regulars and stuff like that. Like, that was my little place in the world. Now I work there. So it's like, not only do I work there and am I there all day, but even on my days off, I still find myself going back there. It kind of sucks because, like, I do spend a lot of time there, and it has been getting a little much lately because, like, I should just go home. But anyways, so starting to, I mean, it's looking interesting, especially with the house is kind of half floating, but I'll fix that. But I'm liking the effect of it coming down the hill. But anyways, so one of the waitresses comes in and she's like, "Oh, you'll never believe what I saw." I'm like, "What?" And she shows me a picture of Brian's face, or his Facebook profile picture, attached to a piece of paper at a gas station over in Biddeford. And it says, Brian, and his last name, is not welcome in this establishment ever. And we're all just like, oh my god, he got banned from that gas station. And so, like, the photo started circulating around. So, like, the cook, he sent it to the owner and stuff like that. Like, it started getting around. And so finally, like, we can't believe it. I mean, I could kind of believe it, but at the same point, like, you can't believe it. Whatever. It's just kind of like, wow, he actually got banned from that. That's crazy. So a little while later, we're closing up, and a police officer comes in. Like, we're closed. I'm just mopping up, and a police officer comes in looking for Brian, and he has a lot of paperwork in his hands. And obviously, we're like, he's not here tonight, and and whatever. So the cop leaves, and so we message the owner like, hey, a cop came in looking for Brian. And Chris goes, oh, why? He goes, I don't know, but he's looking for him. So we told him he works here and he'll be here on a different night. And Chris goes, no, don't tell him that. Tell him he's no longer employed here because we're done. I can't have this kind of guy working here. This is too much. So unfortunately today, Brian was still there because the sad thing is that help is very hard to find right now in a lot of places. And the owner, he kind of realized like, ugh, I want to get rid of this guy. I can't though because if I get rid of him, it's going to be me in that kitchen all day. And the owner's already there enough. He shouldn't have to be here as much as he is. Like, but it's so hard to find help. And like, he doesn't. Like, he's not. His wages aren't bad. It's just no one wants to do the job because not a lot. I mean, not a lot of benefits. It's hard for him to offer it because he is such a small business. So it's hard for him to stay competitive with a lot of the places around the area. And it's like he can't offer a lot of the things that people are looking for. Like when I was just working at the airport, he originally asked me to come work for him. He said, "Well, what kind of benefits are you getting if you don't mind asking?" And I told him all the benefits I had. And he goes, "Oh, I can't compete with that." He's like, "I can't. I just can't." He goes, "It would cost way too much to have those kinds of benefits." He's like, "I can't also ask you to work here then because I can't, in good conscience, pull you away from something better." Which is funny because even though in the end all those benefits, I still ended up leaving that company due to lack of pay, and the atmosphere just wasn't great to be in. It was kind of shitty to work in. I did not like working there. Um, like up toward the end, like I liked working there, but up toward the end it just became impossible. Like I couldn't convince myself anymore that I liked working there, which is kind of the shitty part because like and everyone goes, you were just telling us you loved it there. Like what happened? It's like unfortunately like it changed too quickly. Like how that place operated and this that and the whatnot. Like I went from loving it to just hating it so quickly because that's just how it was. It just everything flipped too quickly. But point being is that you know the owner he can't compete. So this guy was here today. He was on the clock. He was working. He was back there in the kitchen. But it sucks because it's like he needs to go. Like he just needs to go. There's no room for someone like that in this establishment. And like his shittiness and his I wouldn't say corruptness, but just his shitty ways just really could impact us in a negative light because people are going to go, why would you have someone like that working back there? That because so what we found out to kind of give you some context about this guy, like so he was banned from that gas station because he would go in and he would spend 45 minutes there venting to the cashier, this girl who he would just drum up this huge sob story about his life and just vent to her about everything. And of course, she's trying to be nice and whatnot, and but he would just, he'd vent and vent and vent and vent and vent, and then like ask her to like, hey, like, but do you want to like come with me here? Do you want to go do this? Like, kind of try to get her to come home with him. And of course, she's like, no, thanks. Um, and he would get kind of shitty about it. He's like, well, why not? And she's like, because I don't want to go somewhere with you. Like, I don't. It's kind of also not what I wanted. Maybe if I just do it this way. So I'm gonna smooth it manually. But anyways, so like he kind of got really shitty about it, and he was just a general nuisance. I think he, as far as I'm aware, sorry, my voice is also starting to cut out on me, and I'm not sure why. But he would get really shitty about it, and so finally they were like, listen, like he can't be in here, like it's too much to have him in here. He's just being really a nuisance, and so on and so forth. So like, he's got to go. And so they banned him from the establishment because he can't be in there. He doesn't know when to go. He doesn't know how to moderate anything, and like he wants to bother everyone with his problems. And also like a few days last week, like he just never really he'd like come into work for a few hours and then just disappear. And like he was on just big old crack benders. Like he was just in the middle of like a big old bender, um, just getting absolutely trashed, alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. And it's like you can't keep doing this, dude. Like you're ruining your chance. And like and he was fired before. He was fired before. And like God bless my boss, like bless my that man because like he's very big about giving people second chances and like but these people he gives second chances to just don't deserve it. And like I hate to say that, but like it's true. He gives chances to people who just don't deserve it and or people that just don't appreciate the fact that like they were given another chance. And that's shitty cuz like second chances don't come often in this life. And when they do, like you need to take full advantage of them, especially if it's your job. Like if your job is kind enough to give you another chance, like take full advantage of it. But he just couldn't. He could not get it through his thick skull that he needed to like get serious. He needs to give up the drugs. Like he needed to get his shit together. He couldn't. He could not do it. And it's also a fact like it's not that he can't do it, he won't do it because it would require too much work. And that's just the hard truth about it. Like it would just require way too much work on his part and effort, so he just won't do it. And that's the sad truth. So, but yeah, so like he would he's about bothering this girl and stuff like that, and finally like they her so that it's not that they didn't ban him from the establishment, but they technically the note on the door that we saw was from the girl's friend who wrote it and put it up, who also worked there. So he was later banned from the establishment, but they didn't post it on the door like that. Um, I think she got into some sort of trouble for doing that because I guess that could be considered like bad against his name. But was that defamation? I think it is. But or defamation, not defamation, defamation. Um, but yeah, so like it was this whole big thing, and so the cop ended up coming back today. And what I found out through the owner is that a guy from the bank just around the corner came in not long before that, looking for Brian as well. And apparently, what happened is Brian overdrafted his account by several $100s. I think he overdrafted, by $700. Um, and he just dipped from the bank. And they've been trying to get a hold of him, and like they've been unable to. I don't know. It was some large amount of money he overdrafted by. The point being is that Um, they've been trying to call him, trying to call, can't get through. And so, like, they're trying to figure out, like, okay, like, you need to settle up with this money you owe us because you overdrafted. And he straight up, not long ago, like, this is a big problem they've been having. Um, he not long ago had gone up to my boss and said, like, oh, hey, by the way, like, my banking situation has changed. Here's my new routing number. Please deposit my checks to this account and not my old one. My boss like, oh, okay. And Chris, unfortunately, like, he's busy. He can't do everything all day. He kind of forgot to switch that over. So the next paycheck came and it went to that bank account, the one that he overdrafted from. And so he never got his money, but his money got deposited into the negative account. So he hasn't had any money, and, like, he's been trying to, like, do all this stuff, and, like, I can't remember what it was, but, like, he needed to do something, and he asked for a big advance on his paycheck, and, like, asked if Chris would front the money, and of course Chris is like, no, I don't just have that money just to shell out at someone. And even if I did, I'm not gonna sink it in on you, like, because that's a very risky investment that he is not gonna get paid back on. And he told Brian, he's like, listen, like, either, I can give you that money, but the minute I give you that money, you're not getting paid until, the work you do here equals what I just gave you. And of course, Brian's like, oh, yeah, whatever. And Chris is thinking back in my head that, no, it's not a whatever, because he's not going to get paid, and he's going to be hurting for money elsewhere, because that's a lot of money. That's at least a week or two's worth of work. What's he going to do for 2 weeks? So he said, no, you gotta figure that out. I can't do that for you. It was even nice of him just to even entertain the idea for as long as he did. Just not sit there and go, yeah, no, get out of my hair. It's like, no, he just sat there and just, oh, well, I can't really. He didn't just tell him no. He sat there and allowed him to talk and whatnot. And it's like, wow, patience. I wonder if I should have done a cobblestone road. I wonder if that'd be kind of cooler. Maybe cooler, certainly, but I don't know if that'd be wise. Oh. But anyways, so, but I'm pretty sure the issue that he's been having, and I don't know if it's exactly why the police stopped him, but they may have been trying to get him to go to the bank, and maybe it's been an issue he's been having for a while. I don't know, but oh yeah, transmission lines. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Also, I need retaining wall. The retaining wall I used up in Castine. I gotta go look at that real quick. Along the river here. Oh, it's the same one I use at the train station. Crap. Right. Yep, that's gonna be the one I want. Alright, back to Steinete Bukt. Anyways, it's been this whole big thing, and it's like, just to go in today and see him still there, it's like, wow. It must be nice just to fuck up at your job that badly, to just, be this kind of person, be that kind of employee, and still be able to go into work at the end of the day and just, whatever. And it's like, and I'm sitting there and I'm just watching him, just because I'm like, I can't believe he's still here. Like, that's just kind of shitty for Chris. Like he can't do anything about it. And it's like, and I'm listening to this cook talk and stuff like that, and he's still bitching. He's still complaining. Oh, I need to go home early. Da, 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 da. And it's like, you idiot, you idiot, you don't get it. Like, you just don't get it. Like, you should be lucky to still have this job. Yeah, I know this isn't like the most lucrative job in the world, but you should be lucky to still be employed here after all you've done. To be able to still come here day in and day out, clock in and work. And yet here you are complaining that you don't want to be here, you don't want to work, you're just tired and you want to go home, but you're the same guy who bitches about the fact you don't have money. It's like, but then you get fired and then you're all mad and sad and oh, I'll fix it, da 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 da, I'll do this, da 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 da, I'll do that. It's like, no. If you're already griping now, so nothing's gonna change. But the owner's hands is tied and he can't find anyone right now because who's he gonna have back there? No one. And on top of that, like the kid who's the cook that's back there now, the high school kid named Colby, he's really fucking good at what he does too. But like, he's gonna be going off to college this fall, so like, Chris is kind of screwed. Not only is he gonna have to find someone to replace Brian, but he's got to find someone to replace Colby because Colby's gonna be gone in the fall. And that's the shitty part, is like, a lot of our help that we have is our high school kids, and we're losing them this fall when they go to college. So now we're in the situation like, well, shit, what the hell are we gonna do? I'm sitting there kind of panicking, like, oh fuck, like, a lot of the girls that I like working with because they do a good job, they're going off to college. And they're all going kind of locally, but just far enough away where they're not going to be able to come in every day and work, or come back, period, because it's just too far away, and they'll have their studies and stuff like that. They can't come in and work, and they can, but it'd be too much. So like, what the hell are we supposed to do? It's kind of not me to not my job to figure out, but I'm still worrying about it because I'm like, well, shit. This is something that I have to worry about because this is going to directly affect me here pretty soon. In another few months, like, I have another couple months left of working with these high school graduates, and then that's it. 3 of them are gone, and there's 4 that I enjoy working with, but 3 of them are gone, and all 3 of them are on my shift. So it's like, fuck, I'm screwed. That's gonna really impact my day in a negative manner, because now we're not gonna have that help. And and hey, I'm all for people bettering themselves and getting a higher education. I'm happy for them. I really am. But it's kind of shitty in the back of my head because I'm like, oh man, it's like, who are they gonna hire? And it's like, a lot of the girls now that work there, it's like, I don't think many of them are gonna want to step up and take the shifts and fill in. And plus, they already work other days out of the week, so like, they can't. So again, it kind of comes back to the situation like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? And once fall hits, like, it'll quiet back down and stuff, and it won't be as hellish as it will be here pretty quickly because tourist season is upon us. But like I said, the point still stands of like, well, what the fuck? What am I gonna do? But I guess I just gonna have to let the ruling powers in kind of figure it out for now, and we'll get the rest done eventually. And but it's kind of depressing in my head. It's like, man, I've kind of, I wouldn't say made friends, but I work with these people. They're my colleagues, and yeah, they're in high school. They're like my brother's age and shit like that. But I've kind of made friends with them because I work with them. I gotta be with them every time I'm here. And so like, it kind of sucks that these kids that I work with are going to be going off to college and stuff like that, and and going to be kind of stuck here without them. And it's kind of sad in my head. I'm like, well, shit, I grew to appreciate their hard work, and like Colby, it's we've had a couple of we've kind of butt heads a couple of times, but like, he's This kid is fucking phenomenal. Like I went in. He used to work at a sushi restaurant also, so he worked here at the restaurant I work at, and then he also worked at a sushi place. And like he had me eat like the insides of a shrimp too, and that was disgusting. And like he the sushi he made was it was great. It was really really good. Like he's really good at what he does, and like gonna miss that. Like he's good at what he does, and he's generally is pretty even keel. Like I said, he can get under my skin every now and again, and I'm sure I get under his. I got a fucking mouth on me. I can be a real shitty person. I know that for a fact. Um, but like, I'm pretty bummed he's leaving. I'm like, well, crap. What? I love talking to this dude, and he's an all around really cool guy, and like he's gonna be leaving me, and then there's his girlfriend Sophia who works there, and she's such a hard worker. She's awesome. She's just fucking great. I Monday nights is usually just me and her, and we don't really have anyone else that's supposed to be in working, but like she just gets it done, and she doesn't complain. She doesn't really do anything. Like she gets it done. She's a hard worker, and it's just it's awesome. Like working with her is easy. It's so easy because I don't have to worry because I know she's gonna do it. She's gonna get it done, and she's gonna get it done correctly because she's just she can do it. And then also like it's also great because like she can communicate. She can be like, hey, I just need you to grab that for me, or like, hey, can you bust this table, or like, hey, I'm getting a little swamped out here, so like if you could handle this, or if you could like jump in real quick. And it's like, fuck yeah. Half the time it's like a lot of the other girls I'm working with, I'm like, well shit, like I've worked with a bunch of different girls over, throughout the shifts and stuff like that. It's like most of them, um, they can't. They're not very good about communicating, or like they start to panic, or they get too frustrated and don't really ask for help. Or they just get annoyed by the smallest of things, and it's like, all right, calm down. Toby, you're a cat. Oh, you're gonna be a lap cat. Oh, you don't like this. Oh, you don't like this. Um, Sorry, my stepdad just sent me something on Facebook through text message, but it says log into Facebook. Oh, okay, it's a good link. Anyways, so and then there's another girl, Mackenzie. She's very good at basketball. She's just funny to work with. She's just all around kind of the life of the party. Um, she comes in. I mean, she's like Sophia. She can just get it done. Nothing's too much. No, nothing's too big of a challenge for her. She gets it done every single time. Um, it's like when I work with both Sophia and Mackenzie on Tuesdays, and it's like, fuck, I don't have to do shit because I'm technically just the bar back. I can come out there on the floor, especially when it gets busy, and I have been urged to, and I do, I do, especially but they get first picks. I take whatever they don't want, um, just because I'm earning a bar back wage, they're earning waitress wage. Um, what kind of sucks because they do a lot more work than me, but welcome to America, I guess. Um, hey Toby, but the big thing is like they're both, all three of them are just awesome to work with. They're great people, and they're gonna go, and it's like shit, And I don't know if there's any other seniors that I work with at the restaurant, but it's just because I don't work the rest of the shifts, so I don't know who else is there. Um, so I don't know who else might be graduating or whatnot. Um, yeah, so it kind of sucks, and we do have one other girl. Her name's Ella. She did also just graduate. I don't think she's going off to college, so she'll still be around, and she's, obviously she knows what she's doing, so it's very nice to work with her because she can also get it done as well, and like I don't know, she's just funny. Um, it's funny working with these kids as well because like obviously they're using like their slang and stuff like that. And they're making me feel old, and I remind them that throughout the shift because like they'll say something as I'm walking by, or I'll be sitting down rolling silverware, and they'll be saying something, and like I was busting some tables, and I was just hustling around, and they looked at me and they go, "Damn, Jaden, you be busting out there." I'm like, "Yep, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to bust." They're like, "Yeah, man, you bussin'," and like they kept saying it throughout the night, and I'm like, I would do something at the bar, like, "Look at you busting out there." I'm like, or like, I don't remember. It was. They just kept going on. I'm like, what the fuck does bussin' mean? Like, you don't know what bussin' means? I'm like, no. What the fuck is that? And they started laughing. They're like, man, you don't really know what that is? I'm like, no, I just said it. I literally just told you I don't know what that means. Like, I'm old. I'm 25. Which, I'm not even that old. But, like, I'm sitting there and they're telling me what the word means or what. I don't fucking remember what the hell it means. I kind of half listened, but I'm just sitting there and I'm like, my head's bobbing around like a newborn. Like, I don't fucking remember what the hell they were saying. But, like, they told me what the definition of bussin' was. I'm like, okay. I think I said it once back to them. And like, he said it. He knows what it means. He used it correctly. And I'm like, yep. But there's like so many words, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, Jesus. Like, I can just feel the times passing me by now. I'm like, ugh. I'm already to the next generation where they're using these like slang words that I don't know. Or like, I haven't heard it. But now that like I've heard some of the words, I keep hearing it. So like, I guess like I've obviously these words have been being used before, but they never just clicked in the back of my head. Um, yeah, it was just funny, but it sucks, having to say goodbye, and watch these kids go off and and grow up because like I also know these kids from like when I was coming in as a regular. I've been coming in for a while, and sometimes the bar would be full, so I'd sit at a table and they'd serve me, and like I'm obviously wearing bright orange reflective gear, and I'm like looking at a radar tracking a plane, so like they have questions about like oh, what do you do? Like what who are you? And as I sit at the bar and like some nights would be slow, they come over and sit and chat, and like they're just bored. They're just at they're there like like my brother's age, but like all right, I'm here. You work here, like I'm talking with the bartender. He's talking to me. You're kind of chiming in. We're talking with you. All right, cool. I kind of got to know these kids and stuff like that. And then like I found they know my brother, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So like, I always tell them like, yeah, go say this to him, and they go and say that, and they kind of be like, yeah, I saw your brother today. He was doing whatever it is that my fucking brother does, and whatever. So like, I'm like, oh yeah, flip them off for me, or like, or whatever, just friendly banter back and forth, and then getting to work with them, and then kind of see them like come up through high school over the last couple of years, and like now that they're leaving, it's like I feel like I'm like, oh, they're leaving, and listen to them talk about high school and like kind of like getting ready to graduate, and sorry, I keep saying like a lot. I'm really really sorry, but like listen to them talk about getting ready to graduate, and um, they asked me questions about what is it like, what do you have to do, or like it was one she was asking for like relationship advice. She's like, you've been in a few relationships. I'm like, I've been in a relationship. She's like, well, you date, right? I'm like, horribly, but sure. She's like, oh, so can I ask you some relationship advice? I'm like, I'm probably the wrong person to ask, but sure, long as it's appropriate. She just asked, I like this guy, I like, I'm like, all right, well, just be yourself, be genuine, whatever. Like, I don't know, just go be you. I don't know, just kind of what I do. But it's just things that my little brother asks me and stuff like that, and or I hope that he would ask me, or he says things that I've heard them say before, and they've said things that I've heard him say before. Or they'll say something that I've definitely said before, and it's like taking a trip through time for me. Watching these kids get ready to go off out into the world, and it's like I remember being there. I mean, right before I left for Illinois, I was them. I was that kid that just got out of high school. It was that summer after, or that was that summer that the same summer that I graduated. And I'm just sitting there, and it's like, okay, now what? And the people that I'm working with, I would kind of ask them questions about, like, hey, what's going on? What should I be expecting? Like, am I doing the right thing? And my ex, we got into a fight today about this, and and all this other crap, and they give me advice, and it's like, so the tables have flipped, and like the roles are very much reversed now, and it's like I see these kids, and it's like, oh man, I see me from, God, when did I graduate high school? 7 years ago. It doesn't sound like a long time, but it's like I think about it, and I'm like, wow, that was 7 years ago. Like then I really think about it. I'm like, wow, I really graduated 7 years ago. And then I get in my head, and that's a bad place to be. I'm like, holy shit, that was a while ago. Like, I think about 7 years, and I'm like, wow, what happens in 7 years? Kids born the year I graduated are, about the same age I was when my parents divorced, and I think about that, and then I'm like, wow, kids are almost to the age where my brother would have been coming into the picture and shit, and like all this other stuff. I'm like, 7 years, a lot can happen in 7 years. I graduated, I moved, let's see, to Illinois, to the apartment, to the second apartment, home, then to my house. So in 7 years, I've moved 5 times. That's almost once per year. So like, it just, a lot happens, and then and then I think about it, and it's like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I really don't. I don't anticipate being here forever, but I do want to kind of stay involved in this business for a long time. I want to have my hand in what goes on. Like I've told Chris, I'm like, so as long as it's feasible, like when I get to the airlines, like if I'm ever in town, I'd be more than happy to pop in for the night and just help out around here, and just keep things running smoothly, and just I want to continue to help. This business and this establishment is important enough to me that it means the world to me. It really does. This business has given me a sense of belonging in the world. This business means a lot to me, and I want to I wish that flashed. I thought it did. Hold on a second. I guess not. This town doesn't really light up, does it? Huh. Kind of funny. Looks like a ghost town. But yeah, no, a ton happens in 7 years, and it's like, but I want to keep my hand in this business and stuff like that, and it's like I'm gonna meet all sorts of different people, and I think this is a very important first job for a lot of kids, and I think there will always be high schoolers working this kind of job, just being a local restaurant and stuff like that. And I think that's very important for them in particular as well. But it's like I'm gonna meet a lot of different people over the years. I'm gonna see them kind of, get to that, come and work here and get to that point where they're getting ready to graduate, and then they're gonna spread their wings and they're gonna leave, and they're gonna go off to wherever it is they go, and then the next round of kids will come in, and then they'll come in here and work, and and be here for a while, and then same shit, they'll graduate, and then they'll spread their wings and fly, and it's like, oh shit, hold on, I gotta, oh, my phone died. Great. I can't watch the chat that way. Give me just 1 minute. I'm gonna go grab my phone charger so I can plug my phone in so I can have that available. Alrighty. Sorry, I hit the restroom, grabbed my phone charger, got a refill on my soda, took my allergy meds because, ugh, it is driving me mad. So I can't view the chat because something's wrong with my router. It's hidden again because it kept coming on and offline, and then finally it's hidden again. I don't know why. Might be old. I don't know what the deal is. I really don't. Technology is one of those things that confuses the hell out of me. Point being is that I've been using my phone's hotspot to run my laptop, which is fine. Works just the same. Occasionally a little slow, but nothing too bad. But I forgot my phone was on 10%, so it kind of died. I do need a church. Hold on. So yeah, so I just have to wait for that. So if there are people here, which I don't recall there being, but if there is someone and if you ask a question and I just don't get to it, just know I'm not ignoring you. I just don't have a way of looking at my chat right now because my laptop is offline. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, I could probably pull up the chat on YouTube over here. I could probably pull this up real quick. Let me see. Yep, there's no one viewing. That's fine. That's fine. I'll probably get a few playback. Kaldvann, I've noticed, isn't particularly well loved. And I also stream at odd hours too, so that kind of has something to do with it just a little bit. But my Kaldvann videos aren't loved a ton. I have kind of noticed that. Like, if I go to my channel real quick. My last Kaldvann video streamed 2 days ago has only 21 views. The one before that only has 17. The one before that has 16, which was 5 days ago. One from 7 days ago only has 18. One from 8 days ago has 23. Like, it's not a bunch. It's not really great, but it is what it is. One of my Carabasset streams, the first one I did on Trains 19 has 111 views. That was about a month ago, which isn't bad. I have a rail fanning video, which has 67 views about a month ago, but I don't know. My flight sim streams didn't, kind of hit or miss. I don't know. My channel's just small. But even like, 7 months ago, 18 views on a Kaldvann stream, 19 views on a Kaldvann stream, 30 views, 35. Yeah, it really just depends, I guess, on what I'm uploading. Again, Train's a very niche thing. So my phone's back up online. So I'll throw open the hotspot again and see if that will work. Now the question is, what church am I going to throw over here? That's the bigger question. I don't actually know what church I'm going to put over here. I think maybe that small DS church. Yeah, that could probably work. Just something small and quaint. Alright, so it looks like we're coming back online. Alright, so I'll just click the live button to keep up with that. I should just reload the page real quick. Anyways, so that is that. Do I want to drag this all the way? Yeah, I probably do. So there is that. Now the only other shitty thing is I need to do the other side of the hill. I've done the one side of the street, but I need to do both the sides of the street. This will probably sit on this side here. There is one guy, I forget. I recognize his channel name when he pops in. I forget his name off the top of my head. He was in one of my last streams where it was actually the day I went out to go buy, I believe it was my firearm. But he, shit, I forget his channel name, and I really feel bad about that because like I shouldn't. But I say he's one of my more engaged and active viewers. One of the I have a couple that do tune in quite regularly, which I'm very appreciative of because, like I said, I get it. Train's a very, 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 very niche subject, and provides very, very limited viewership, which is absolutely fine. Like I don't care. I should do a baseball stream soon, but that got super low views. But I guess if anyone wants to watch it, it's there. I might do a couple flight sim streams. I might just keep it on the same channel, just because I don't think there's much sense in doing multiple channels at this point. Um, People who want to watch me can just come to the channel, and if they like what I'm streaming, they like what I'm streaming. If they don't, well, tough titties. Um, but yeah, yeah. I don't know. I have been thinking like a little bit about my channel lately, and like, how do I branch out? How do I kind of get a little more viewership? Because I would like a little more viewership. I have been considering doing some Minecraft stuff with Sean again on his realm, because I would actually kind of like to go play on Minecraft again. Like I get little spurts here and there. I just want to go play Minecraft and shit. So kind of hitting one of those spurts now where it's like, all right, I kind of want to go play Minecraft because I heard there was a big update, and they were supposed to make creosote oil a thing, or something along those lines. I don't know. There was something like I'm very big into like the manufacturing and technical side of Minecraft. Not like a lot of automation, but just in general. I just like I don't know, I like making industries, especially in Minecraft of all things. Um, yeah, so I've been considering doing some Minecraft shit again. I guess I was gonna like move this up. I guess is what I'm gonna do. It's a very steep slope. This is a very steep hill. Kind of reminds me of Pike Street in Biddeford, town that right next to me. Very, very steep hill. This is probably the equivalent grade of it. It's super steep. It's probably actually steeper, honestly. Let me get a ground view of this. I would say probably the bottom part right here. This is Pike Street. Like that is probably the street right there. Pike Street is very steep, but it's much taller than this. It is much, much taller than that. Pike Street is interesting. It's very, very steep. But I can see this street being an issue, especially in the wintertime, uh, when cars need to go down it, and it's a little slick out, and kind of have to worry about skidding off the hill. It's kind of a thing that you might have to worry about. Um, anyways, so what was I saying? I haven't a clue. Little tits. Oh yeah. So I got to talking with my sister tonight, and I've been trying to be more transparent. I don't want to hide stuff. There's very few things that I want to hide in my life. Um, but I was very nervous about when I bought my firearm, about telling my mom, because she has always been anti-gun, always. She does not like guns. She wants nothing to do with guns. She really doesn't want guns in the household, and she is also my landlord in all technicality. Like, I know I'm 25, but I still do kind of like keep my mother's opinion in mind. So I think it was actually that night um, that I bought it. Yeah, actually, it was that night. So it was that night I bought it. We went and dropped my brother back off. No, no, no. We went to go get his stuff because my mom was leaving for DC the next day, and um, she was sad that I didn't come out from the store to say hello to her in the parking lot. Well, I kind of couldn't because I was waiting on my brother to come to bring the cash from my house because I originally went in there to buy a cheaper gun, but they talked me into a gun that was a little more expensive. Um, it also fit my hand a little better because I have small hands. Um, so it fit better, and I wanted that one, and it felt the best. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess like I'm probably only ever gonna buy a gun. I don't really see the need to own multiple. Like, if I were to buy another gun, I'd be buying a hunting rifle because I eventually do want to go hunting. I've never been hunting before. Like, I hadn't been fishing before up until I moved to Illinois. Like, I've never been hunting. I would love to go hunting. I would love to be more resourceful and a little more self-reliant. I'd like to actually know exactly where my meat is coming from, like I used to. When I lived in Illinois, I knew exactly where my food was coming from. Most of the time, like most of the year, I could go outside and see the cow that we were gonna get walking in the field for most of the season. I knew exactly where my food was coming from. Like, I never felt more in touch with my lifestyle and my sense of living than when I was in Illinois. At least with my ex's family. Um, you know, our eggs came from right across the street. Our pork, our chicken, our beef, all came from farms that we could see from the house. Um, our vegetables grown out back in a garden. Um, there was, I mean, like, yeah, we obviously go to the store for pasta and like other stuff, and yeah, like, sometimes there's just stuff that we don't have that we would go to the store for. But most of our stuff, just about most of our food, was stuff that was grown right there. And like, it was damn good too. It was damn good food. But I had never lived a lifestyle like that, and that was a fucking good lifestyle. Like, I loved it. Her dad, he would hunt, so every now and again we get venison. So like, that deer didn't go to waste. That deer absolutely did not go to waste. So like, I don't know, like it was just awesome to know exactly where all my food came from. I could shake the hand of the farmer who raised that cow, or even at that point slaughtered it. Which I know those people are like, oh, that's cruel, that's kind of weird, whatever. It's like, and some people like that, you know. Even at the airlines, like that's kind of weird, don't you think? I'm like, what? Like, you shake the hand. I'm like, I don't. I yes, like I fucking drink beer with the guy who killed the cow that we're eating. It's not weird. It's living. That's how life works. I mean, yeah, but that cow and like, yeah, but if you go to the store, same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same goddamn thing. There was a cow, it was roaming in a field, and then one day they killed it. Or, well, I don't know if the cow was roaming the field. I know how the cattle industry can be, especially with veal. That is one thing I won't eat. I won't eat veal. I just can't bring myself to eat it. I, there's a lot of things I'll eat. I can't eat veal. I just don't like it. Based off, how the cattle is treated and stuff like that. That is like the only thing that I will not do based off of ethics. I just can't eat veal. I don't like the idea of knowing that baby cow was born, ripped away from its mother, and then it was stored in a pen just big enough to hold its body. It doesn't move. It just gets fed, and then it's herded off and then slaughtered. Like, I know they do it that way because there's a certain, if it gets too much exercise or the meat just it's not the same. I Cool. I just can't. I just can't eat the baby cow. Why? That's my reasons. So, but I'll eat anything else. It just that's just me. But yeah, I'm not getting a lot of progress done for 2 hours worth of work. I was just looking at the how long have I been working and or at least streaming, and I've been going for about 2 hours. Although I think I didn't really start working until 41 minutes in. I think I spent a fair bit of time talking about this, that, and the whatnots. So I'm gonna give myself a pass on this one, just because I think I deserve one. Um, anyways, but um, but no, that the lifestyle that I lived there was truly wonderful, and it was nice. It was so nice to just know exactly where everything's coming from. It I can't explain it to if you've never experienced that kind of lifestyle or if you've never experienced that kind of living. I can't explain it to you. Like, it's just it was nice. And that I keep saying it, but it's just the damn truth. It's just it was nice. So I would like to be more resourceful, but like I said, so the only other gun that I would own would be a hunting rifle. That's the only other gun I'd own. I don't think I'd ever buy another handgun. I don't need another one. I already have one. You know, do I like the one I have? Yeah, I like it. It's nice. I still haven't got to fire it yet. I'm hoping to maybe do that sometime with my dad. Um, I'm a little upset that I haven't yet, just because I would like to see my father. But hey, there'll be plenty of time to do that. There's no rush. I mean, I have no rush. I have no hurry. I don't need to fire it. I'd like to fire it just to know, just to be able to experience that and start learning how to properly handle it. But the point being is that I want to be very transparent, and so I like I said, I hold my mother's opinion about things very high. And I told her that night that's why I didn't come out and see you in the parking lot. And she got mad. And I explained to her, I'm like, Mom, listen, like, I'm 25. I can make my own decisions. I'm an adult. If I choose to own a firearm, I can. She's like, well, you don't need it. I'm like, oh, absolutely. I don't need it. I said, do I want it? Sure. Well, why? Well, there's been some things going on around town. I don't feel very comfortable about it. I don't really care for it. Well, that's what the police are for. Yep, that's what the police are for. I don't think that they're going to be able to help, though, when this situation arises where I potentially could get stabbed. They ain't going to help me too much with, getting stabbed if I already get stabbed. You know, I'll call them all day. I never, ever, ever want to have to pull this out for anything other than firing at the range. I never hope to. I never want to. I've seen my dad, in my whole time knowing that he's owned a firearm, only expose that weapon once in any other manner except just moving it to the car, putting it away at the house, or just showing me the firearm. We were out walking one night, and it was my brother, my dad, my stepmom Lynn, and my stepbrother Dan. It was evening time. It was warm out. I think it was like one of the last nice days we were gonna have before winter came, or like before fall would set in, and then winter would roll around inevitably. So it was like, or maybe it was summer. I don't remember. Point being is, we went for a walk, and it was like 2021, and there was this guy that popped out of the bushes. We were walking down the street. We're just going around the block, nothing big, and this guy pops out of like the bushes, kind of like this driveway area, and he's like, "Hey, can I borrow one of you guys' phone? Like, I'm kind of stranded and stuff like that. I need to make a call." And first of all, he says I'm stranded, and it's like, you're in the middle of a city in a neighborhood. How are you stranded? There's no way. And like, it didn't make sense. It just seemed weird. So my dad said, "Nope, sorry. Have a good night." And the guy, he keeps talking. He's like, "So what? You're not gonna help me?" Dad, once again, "Nope. Have a good night." And the guy keeps going on, "Oh, go fuck yourself. You're just gonna leave me here and stuff like that." And like, he's just going on and on and on. And so my dad kind of starts walking away. And so I hear him say, "I hope you guys fucking get, fuck you guys. I hope you guys get what's coming to you. Like, fuck you. I hope you guys get hurt. I hope you guys get killed. I'm gonna see to it. I'm gonna see to it." And like, it was at that point where my dad's like, "Okay." So we catch back up, because me and him were kind of lingering behind the rest of the pack, because me and him were just chatting, as we do. Me and my dad, we have our own little discussions sometimes, just father and son. Nothing against my mom, my stepmom, or my little brother, but like, I don't go and see my dad on a regularly scheduled basis. English. Like my brother does, because my brother still lives at home because he's still in high school, so he's mandated by the courts. My dad is entitled to uh, scheduled visitations for my little brother. Um, I think it only happens for another year, and then no more scheduled visits, which kind of sucks, because like, kind of sucks thinking about my brother growing up. But anyways, not the point of the story. So this guy, he starts following us, and it was he's quite a good ways back when he started following us. And so we caught back up with my stepmom, my stepbrother, and all them, like, "Hey, we need to move. Like, we need to go." And they're like, "Why?" And we're like, there's a guy. He just, we kind of briefly explained it to him. Just go. We need to go. We're going back to the house. And so we rounded the corner, and we're coming. So, like, if you draw a box, so we were on the top part of the box, or like, we're on the back stretch. Like, if you look at like a racetrack, we were on the back stretch. So we were on the back stretch when this guy approached us. We were coming around like turns 3 and 4. So the street my dad lives on, technically, when you're coming around the side of the box, or like the corner of the side of the rectangle, um, so I guess, like, let me explain it. So it's like, I'll draw it out real quick. So it's like, so my dad's house is like here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So my dad's house is here, let's just say, and he's on a corner. So you go up. There's this big long street, and it goes down like half mile or so, and it comes down on the side street. There's another street over here that comes this way, intersects my dad's street, but the street that he technically lives on comes right here. Yeah, it's a cross street, goes all the way over, and then towards the end of it, it hooks over this way, and then it doesn't go straight on because there's a house there, so it comes this way and hooks up with this street right here. And it's called Wentworth Street. So this is Green Street. This is Mason Street. This is Street. Fuck, what is that street name? Shit, what is that street name? Oh, for the life of me, I gotta remember that street name. That's motherfucker. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna kick myself. Graham Street. And then you have Union over here, and then Green Street hooks back up with Wentworth. So the guy approached us back here, and he started following us. So we were here when we started caught up with my stepmom and my brothers and stuff. So we started walking, and by the time we got toward the end of the street, he was around in the corner. So we told my stepmom and my brothers, like, hey, go back down Green Street. We're going to walk the other way, and kind of try to lure him away because we don't want him coming to the house. So we, we're walking down this way. My stepmom and my brothers were kind of just hauling ass. They got back there long before we did, and we got to about halfway down Wentworth Street between Mason Street, and this guy was around the corner, and he was coming. And it was at that point that my dad, he went to his backpack, and he got his gun out. He didn't point it. He didn't, he just got it out. He just got it out because we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen here. And my dad, it's like, he was starting to get real nervous, and I knew something was going to start getting triggered because he's got, he fought in the first Gulf War. So he got that out, and I'm like, I got my phone out, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm calling the police. He's like, why? I'm like, because this ain't gonna end well. If your gun's getting brought out, this isn't good. Like, we need to get the police down here now. And he's like, good thinking. Get him on the horn. So we got the police on, and like, I told him straight up, like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. Like, we need you down here, like, now. And it took him quite a bit to get there. And it was actually getting, like, this guy, he, like, when we were coming up, because we walked past my dad's house, and, like, my fucking brothers were waiting outside. They were waiting outside to see if they could help. It's like, no, inside now. And, like, we had to yell at them, like, go, get inside. But, like, when we were yelling at them to go, this guy, he saw we were hesitating, and, we were outside for something, and he was coming quick, and this dude made up some good fucking time. Like, he could go for speed walking Olympics, but it was like right at the end as we were getting ready to turn onto Graham Street. Like, I'm on the phone with the dispatcher. I'm like, hey, listen, we're gonna start walking towards the police station because, like, I don't hear any cars, I don't see anyone. Like, they're like, all right, the officers are coming, and then finally, I still remember, I'm like, please hurry, please, he is coming. I don't know if he has a weapon. I don't know. Like, please hurry. I mean, it was actually pretty fucking scary. Like, I can talk about it now. I was able to talk about it all through then, but I was pretty fucking scared. I will tell you. And, like, my dad, he's kind of like me. When he gets quiet, and when he doesn't start saying a whole hell of a lot, he's in this, he's either really upset, or he's trying to collect himself, or he's trying to stay calm and stuff like that. And, I'm kind of the exact, not the exact same way, but I'm very much like that. It's like, when I start getting quiet myself, it's like, all right, it's serious, it's go time. This requires all attention. The police finally did show up. It took them a while, and I know like they got other shit going on, but I, I, I will admit I kind of was begging them. I'm like, please, please hurry. Like I don't know what's going to happen when that guy gets to us, but he's gonna like we're about he made up some good ground. Um, yeah, but what happened like and the shitty like so we the cops get there and like so we sit on the sidewalk and like whatever and we're just waiting to hear from them and stuff and to give them a statement and like the officer who was talking with us, she gets on her radio and she talks to the cop who's talking with the guy, and she's like, "Oh, hey, ask him if his name is da 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 da, whatever the fuck it was." And the officer comes back, "Yep, that's his name." And we're like, "Oh, you know him?" And she goes, "Yeah, we've had to deal with him a bunch. And we're like, "Oh, for what?" And she's like, "He's not particularly a kind person to his girlfriend." And it's like, "Oh, great. So there's a fucking wife beater that lives around the corner from my dad who is a loose cannon." And like he was fucking just swearing up a storm. I mean, he was going ballistic. And like I guess he's on parole. They had to call like a parole officer out. Um, it was this whole big thing. And he was just like, I just wanted to borrow their fucking phones and these fucking, he dropped the F slur a couple times. He kept calling us F slurs and he dropped the N word a few times as well, and a bunch of other shit too. But he kept going on and on and on and on and on and on, and like he's like I just want this, and they can't be decent to me, and these fuckers and stuff like that. They just need to be fucking taken off this earth. And it's like I'm sitting there going, he really just said that to a cop. He just told them that me and my father need to be taken off this earth. It's like holy shit. There's some loose cannons out there. Yeah, but we got back. But it's like that's the only time I've ever been in a situation where someone I know who has a gun has brandished that firearm, and like my dad fully admitted to me, he's like, I, for the love of me, like I didn't want to do it overseas. I don't want to do it now. I do not want to put someone down. He's like, I hope to God that if it came to it tonight, I hope I would have shown great discipline. But he's like, I was nervous. I was very nervous. And that's not something you want to hear from your father. Um, I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous. No shit, me too. Me too, buddy. I was nervous too. I was there. Oh God, like it was something, and but it's shit like that just kind of spooks me sometimes, and keeps me from walking out there. And it's like it took the police that long to get there. Like I said, I know they got other shit going on, but like still, what if they were? What if it took them any longer? What if that guy had a gun? What if I don't know what this guy can do. I don't ever want to find out. That is the only part I hate thinking about. Is what if it took the police just a little bit longer to show up? The what ifs. And that honestly scared me. Me and my father, my family, we have not taken a walk in his neighborhood in forever, and I hate that because like I love walking. I love walking everywhere. I love taking walks around town and listening to my dad talk about the history of this location or what may have gone on here when he was a kid or just things from the past. I love listening to that kind of stuff. It's that kind of stuff that I take and I go forward in the day, and I take that and I listen to what he says, and but I haven't taken a walk with him in forever. I will still go walk myself, but I used to take walks very late at night, especially through COVID because no one was out. So I'd go walking late at night, and I would never run into anyone. I used to go walking when I graduated from the year I graduated from high school. I get off work at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd go walk downtown. And my mom used to get so pissed off at me. You're gonna get hurt. You shouldn't be doing that. But I never, ever ran into any problems, ever. Like I would run into someone, and I'd have a fucking conversation with them. We just start talking, like, hey man, one guy. I remember this one guy. He smoking pot or maybe cigarettes. I think it was pot. He kind of smelled like pot. He bumped me for a lighter. I'm like, hey man, I ain't got one. He's like, oh shit, I'm just trying to light up. I'm like, yeah, no, sorry. I'm like, if I had one, totally. He's like, no, that's cool. And like, um, I know he got like he felt one in his pocket. He's like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Like I got one here. I'm like, no, it's cool. And we just started chatting. He's like, oh, do you want to hit? I'm like, nah, I don't smoke. I fly aircraft. He's like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. Like, you actually fly airplanes? I'm like, yeah. And like, I showed him like a couple of videos on my phone and stuff like that. And like, me and this random guy I just met on the street. Never seen him before in my life. I think it was like 3:30 in the morning, out in the middle of Saco, just shooting the shit. We're just talking. I said, never met this guy before, ever. And we're just talking. Excuse me. Um, I likely will never see that guy again. But like, me and him just chatted up like we were old friends. Nowadays, it's like, all through COVID, I definitely was not talking to no one because fuck that. But I don't know. I'm too nervous to, because everyone, is, I don't know. It just seems like the mood's all changed, and I mean, I guess maybe that's just because of COVID, or I don't know exactly why, but like, I don't go up to people no more. I can't take walks anymore at that hour because people are getting stabbed, and I don't know if it's just people out of are now starting to get desperate. I don't know why. I don't know why people are doing that, but I don't go out anymore that late at night just because it's not safe anymore. It used to be. It used to be. It totally used to be. I never ever ever once had to worry about anything at that hour. And I tell this to like the people I work with, a lot of the girls, and like, I can't go walk that hour, and I'm like, yeah, I know, and that sucks that you can't, because honestly, it's so peaceful. It's so damn peaceful. It's so nice to go out that hour. I love just taking car rides that hour. I love being up late because it's so quiet. It's so nice and quiet. But now I can't do that anymore because I have to worry about, am I gonna make it home? I mean, fuck, I was coming home from my boss's mother's house. Is just around the corner. It's a couple blocks over from where we live, or where we work. I'm sorry. Um, it's off one of the side streets near Main Street in the downtown area. And I hung out there. We watched the Celtics play on a TV that they had hauled outside by the fire that they'd had going. And so we were watching the Celtics play, and then like I'm finally like, all right, I gotta get going. I gotta go home because I just gotta go home. I gotta get some sleep. It's getting late. I gotta get out of here. So I started back, and I realized like, oh shit, I left my car right by where we work, because I didn't need it. It was pointless for me to bring it to the party because like we were all walking over. I'm like, oh, it'll be nice later. I'll walk home, and I'm like, oh shit, they had that stabbing around here not too long ago. I probably should have brought my car with me. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. Whatever. It's only a couple blocks. Nope. Started walking a couple blocks, and I was getting close to my car when a guy, he wasn't behind me when I last looked behind me, and I turn around and I kind of like look over my shoulder, and there's a guy kind of not closely behind me, but he's there. I'm like, huh, that's weird, because like all the house lights are off, a car didn't pull up. Like, where did he come from? Get a little spooked. All right, so I turn my corner to go back towards my car. It's the only thing on that street. He turns that corner. I'm like, huh. All right, a little weird. He's probably just going this way. I'm like, well, it's going to take me a hot minute to get in my car. Why don't I just walk past it and get my car keys? I'll just go onto Main Street where it's nice and well lit. A couple cars might go by. Police station's right there, whatever. So I turn the corner onto Main Street, kind of fumbling for my keys and whatnot. I'm like, all right, don't really know where they are. I said, all right, well, maybe he's still behind me. Okay. Maybe I'll go down this street over here because my cousin lives on that street and it's well lit. A couple of, I know there's cameras on that street because of the apartment complex on both sides owned by the same company. I'll go down this way. I go down that way. He's still behind me. All right, I walk up to the end of that street. All right, well, now I need to turn right and kind of start doubling back towards my car. So I turn up that street. He's still behind me. There is no reason that this man, okay, benefit of the doubt. He could have been going this way for some reason. He could have been. But he would not, now I'm doubling back. So, there's no way he has any sort of business over here. So now I'm getting a little nervous. I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm uncomfortable now. Maybe I'm just getting in my head. I'm more than likely just getting in my head, but I don't feel comfortable anymore. The fun's over. I'm being followed. I turn on the street to go back towards the restaurant. I'm heading back in the direction I just came from, and this guy is still behind me. I'm like, yep, nope, we're being followed. That's great. That's perfect. Awesome. I feel 100% right now. I feel great. I'm now nervous. That's awesome. Um, yeah, my gun was on me. I didn't pull it out, but I guess the point of the story is I don't like how things have changed. I don't care for how things are going in my town, and it's I did call the police once again because that's their job. That's their job to come deal with these problems, not mine. Not my job to be vigilante. Not my job to pull out my gun. Not my job to pull out, see what this guy's issue is. No, it's not my job. There is someone who gets paid for that. There's someone who willingly took an oath to go do that. So I'm going to call them. So I called them. And they were busy. They told me, unfortunately, all of our officers are very busy right now. Are you sure you're being followed? Yes, I'm 100% positive. They didn't have any Biddeford units that could come over. They were all busy with something. It was a Friday night, and I'm sure there was a lot of shit going on. And there's this guy still behind me, and they're just all right, well, just if you want, you can come to the police station and stuff like that. I told him I'm walking by right now, and he's still behind me. And I don't. I've already passed it. I have already passed it. I gotta loop back around now because now if I want to go there, I gotta walk past this guy again. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just send an officer outside. There has to be someone in that building. There has to be someone in there that can come do something. There can't just there's no way everyone's all busy at the exact same time, and there's no way that there's no one in that building that can't just poke their head out real quick. Sure, they might not exactly be a cop, but I'm sure they must be wearing a uniform of some sort. I don't know, it was a thought that occurred to me. There has to be someone. But nope, once again, the police department in this town can't seem to do anything for me. I'm not saying they're entirely useless, but I definitely can't says I'm very happy with their performance that night. It just kind of pissed me off. I'm I'm doing the right thing. I don't feel comfortable. I know for a fact I'm being followed. It's like I said, it's not my job to be the hero. It's not my job to pull out my gun. If this guy totally comes at me and has a knife or a weapon of his own, sure, maybe. But before we even get anywhere close to that. Anywhere close. I shouldn't even get close to that. Call the police. Nope, sorry, all of our officers are a little busy with other things right now. We're very tied up at the moment. Really? There's no one that could just break off. Like, are you sure? Like, you don't have a cop you could just like pop out of a bucket real quick? Like, you can't just get Susan the dispatcher to come out real quick in like a squad car and kind of maybe scare this guy? Nothing? No? Okay. All right. This is great. Perfect. But it's still like, yeah, it was just it was not cool. Is all I'm gonna say. It was very uncool, that whole situation, and then it's just like, and that still happened in my little town. How? What's gotten us to this point? What's happening? Why are we at this point now where this is happening? I don't understand it, honestly. But the big thing is like, there's been a couple of things that have made me very nervous. Even beforehand, there's been things that made me nervous. But the point is that I don't like what I see going on around me. I don't feel very comfortable. I'm not a big guy. I live alone. I don't particularly like that. But the thing is that it's now getting to the point where I'm not really feeling safe going out into public. The big events. I'm going to a convention coming up here for something that I think me and my cousin will enjoy. Um, I don't get to hang out with her very often because we just live very separate lives. She's got her thing going on. I work. I'm just unfortunately busy a lot. But like, I figured, we used to be very close as kids, so like, hey, this is family. Most of the times is all you really got. Some days, most of the days, but like, so like, I try to continue to do things with and for my family. So I think it's important. But like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, like, are we going to be safe at this? Is something going to pop up? Generally speaking, Maine, we don't have to worry about that. But there have like these things that have been going on. I generally haven't had to worry about ever before, and now I'm worrying about them. These things have never happened before, and now I'm worrying about them. So now I'm just worried in general. Like, am I going to be safe? I want to have my Norwegian friend come over to the U.S. to meet her for the first time, and I've always terrified myself about, will she be safe? If she comes to the U.S., will she be safe? Will I be able to keep her safe? I want to make sure that she goes back home the exact way she came here, only with more memories. And maybe a few, souvenir t-shirts. But point being, I've terrified that because I would not live with myself if Ingvild came to the United States and something happened to her. I would not live with myself at all if something happened to her if she, when she comes to the United States. I could not. That girl has helped me so much and is probably the closest I've ever been to a human being, and I've never met her. So like, I want to make sure she's safe when she comes over here. But with everything going on, it's like, I don't feel very confident about anything. I've been very worried about her potentially coming here to the United States. I don't think it's happening this year. Actually, I can kind of guarantee I don't believe it is at all. Which kind of sucks because we were so damn close to getting her out here this summer. I'm probably gonna head out there this fall to Europe. I've never left the country. I would like to before the next round of COVID flares up when the cold ones start returning, because I kind of have a feeling that's going to happen. Um, I don't know. I don't want to get into the debate about it, but like, I'm sure we're going to see a flare up once winter starts returning and people start getting sick again. Um, the point being is that like like I said, I don't feel safe or comforted knowing that she's going to come to the U.S. and she's going to go back home safely. Like, I can, she probably will be. Like, nothing will happen, but I don't know that. I mean, I didn't think we'd be having this big of an issue. Like, in just under a month, we've had how many mass shootings in places that, you don't really expect it? And that's the thing is, you can't really label a place as somewhere where you're going to see a mass shooting. Like, Uvalde, Texas, a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, um, a elementary school in Connecticut, just to name a few locations. I didn't think they were going to bomb the Boston Marathon for all things, and look what they did. Look what that got us. So, but like, all these things going on. No, I don't particularly feel comfortable about a lot of things. So, that being said, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be if she comes here to the U.S. I really don't, and I'm terrified to find out. I really don't want to find out. And as much as I'd love to see her and meet her for the first time, like, I'm actually relieved she's not coming to the U.S. because I don't know. But the thing is like, how does this just keep happening? How is it? This shit just keeps on happening, and nothing gets done about it. And I hate to have another fucking live stream where I sit here and talk about, these school shootings again. But it just baffles me still. How are we still just talking about it? How is there that much political divide that we can't figure something out? That we can't get something done to fix this problem? You know, they say let's get more mental health care. Let's make health or mental health more accessible. No, 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 no. That's not the problem. It is, but okay, fine. We won't do that. You know, and they say, oh, well, let's just give every teacher a gun. Okay, yeah, let's give one of, let's make a grotesquely underpaid position where most teachers are already having to go out and buy their own supplies. My sister talks about a friend of hers whose cousin, I think, is a teacher, or whatever have you, in the New York school that she works at. They are limited with what they can print and how much, or how much they can print. So most of the time, she has to, or he has to, or they have to, utilize my sister's friend who works for the same company. They utilize my sister's company's resources and paper to print the stuff they need for class. Teachers are already buying their own supplies. There's so much things that teachers have to do. They're a, an educator, a counselor. They're already doing like 4 positions. I forget the other 2 my sister mentioned and stuff like that. And I'm a little tired to remember them off the top of my head. But point being is like, they're already doing 4 things, and you want to give them a gun to do, to now also be a bodyguard. You better be bumping up their pay something fierce, because like, they're gonna need it. Because if it were to come down to that, I can guarantee you the schools would have to tell these teachers like, yep, you need to go out and buy your own gun, supply your own ammunition, take your own defense classes and stuff like that. Like, most school districts wouldn't be able to afford that. But that's a lot of what I hear people saying. They like, yeah, just give the teachers guns. Put a gun in that school. Like, really? That's your genuine solution. Like, okay, all right. So now there's guns in school. Okay, in what's supposed to be a gun-free zone because that worked well. Um, but like, I don't know. Like, it just that doesn't really seem like a real solution to me. Like, okay, that's something. It's something. It's certainly something. But like, it doesn't really seem like a real great solution to me. Like, let's talk about mental health care. Why can't we talk about that? Why can't people acknowledge that there is a crisis, there is a problem? Why as me and my sister spoke about, it's like, why does this have to be a bipartisan issue? Why does there have to be so much bipartisan? Like why can't we just get over that? Why does this have to be a divided issue? Why can't we just acknowledge that there is a fucking problem in this country? Am I proud to be an American? I'm proud of I'm happy I live here. I'm happy I'm a Mainer. I'm very proud that I'm from Maine. But I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot to be proud of while we're just gridlocked like this and trying to point the finger and stuff like that and all this other crap. It's like there is not a ton to be proud of right now. Yeah, I could be born somewhere else, but like, no, I was born here in the U.S. I was born in Maine. But we gotta figure this out. We gotta get something figured out because this can't keep going on. This just can't. And the fact that it is just it just blows my mind. It blows my mind away that this is still going on and that there's still these shootings that occur. Like, even if we change the gun laws, like, yes, I know there will still be shootings because the bad guys will find a way to get guns and means that skirt around the system. There are always ways to break laws. There are numerous ways to break all sorts of laws. Like, yeah, I understand absolutely banning every single firearm will not solve the problem. It is not going to solve it because, again, these criminals are going to find ways to get these weapons. But why can't we at least acknowledge that there is more that we could at least do today to at least vet the process? Like, there's just more we can do in general. You know, me and my sister said, like, my brother graduates high school next year. And she is so happy, not only because it's a major accomplishment in my brother's life, one of his first major accomplishments, just as someone growing up, but like he's going to be out of school finally to the point where neither one of us, including my mother, has to worry about like him getting shot. But like, why do we have to worry about that? Why do we have to worry about that? That's the crazy part. That's the part that confuses me is like, why are we worrying about it? Why aren't we doing something about it? And I've tried talking with people at work because I've been very big about this lately. It's like, why aren't we doing something? And people will say like, oh well, you bought a gun. You're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem. And it's like, no, you can still own a gun. You can absolutely own a gun. If you want to own a gun, cool. That's your right. You can own a weapon. But I just believe that there's more we can do to help make the process a little harder. Maybe make it just a little bit more difficult for for certain people to get guns, because not every guy who has a gun got it in means, from a back alley. I don't know, just there's what can we do here? I'm just not hearing all sorts of great ideas. Everyone again is too divided, or they just don't want their way of life ruined. And I get that. I don't want my way of life ruined, but I also don't want to keep hearing about little kids who never even got a chance to get out in the world keep getting blown away. I am so sick and tired of hearing that. It's like every week I hear about this shooting, that shooting, this shooting, that shooting. It's like, when does that stop? When does it finally stop? When does it finally get to the point where we go, okay, enough's enough. Like we gotta figure this out. But no one wants to have the talk. It's left v right, it's red versus blue, it's it's Dems versus Republicans, it's liberals versus conservatives. It's like, no, this is our children. These are our children. Why are we failing them every fucking year? I thought about it. Not once did it ever cross my mind in school that there's a chance I could get shot tomorrow. Not once. I can't remember any notable school shootings back when I was in high school. Maybe because there's just been so many that they faded away, but there's nothing that particularly stands out in my mind. Again, I'm sure there was some. I do remember Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook was when I was in high school. But, again, we didn't worry about it. That wasn't a part of my major thought. But I have been hearing a lot more that's actually kind of the thought process of a lot of these kids going through high school right now is am I going to be all right? Am I going to get home tomorrow? Why are we allowing our kids to have these thoughts? Why is it today's youth is having to have those thoughts? Like, they shouldn't have to worry about that. That shouldn't even be anywhere on their mind. That shouldn't be a thought they have at all. And yet, there they are. Having those thoughts, having to worry about that, having to actually sit down and think, holy shit, will I go home tomorrow? Oh man, there's a kid pissed off about X, Y, and Z. He's not gonna come, you know, to school tomorrow all pissed off, and blow us all away, is he? Just all these things. I don't hear it every day. I'm not saying this is like a daily occurrence. I'm hearing kids, coming up to me, I'm gonna get shot. I'm gonna get shot. But I've certainly heard it a little more. I've certainly heard it a little more. It's definitely a worry. Like I said, yes, I own a gun. I do. I absolutely do. The process to get it was, in my opinion, way too easy. I still should be waiting to have my firearm on me. Like, you should absolutely be allowed to go. Excuse me. Oh, you should absolutely allowed to be to go into a store and purchase a firearm. But there is no way. I don't think there should be any way that you should be able to walk out of that store same day with that firearm. Like, that is insanity to me. Like I said, it still throws me for a loop. Like, wow, that I actually did that. I was able to go down there and do that. No questions asked. Nothing. Not one. And that's that. It just blows my mind. Like, that's how easy it was. So yeah, I can kind of see like, yeah, maybe we do need to like work on that a little bit. It's crazy to me. But like I said, that's the process, and you know, that's just what it is. I just, it's incredible. It's just incredible. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just mind blowing. But that's what we're living in. But I don't know. It's certainly disheartening, And I watched a stream of one of my favorite YouTuber the other day, Papa Gut, and he was watching I think it was Matthew McConaughey go on about the Uvalde shootings because apparently he's from Uvalde. I didn't know that. Be it true or whatnot, I don't know. I guess he is. But point being, he's from that region. He spoke on it, and it's like, in his video, Papa Gut talked about or showed this guy who basically his whole argument to Matthew McConaughey speaking is like, oh, Matthew McConaughey says we should have more gun control. Also, Matthew McConaughey, and it shows a bunch of clips from Matthew McConaughey in movies where he was handling guns. And it's like that doesn't prove anything. Those are once again movies. Those are just movies. Like, I know you don't want to hear that argument because you think I'm just making excuses, but that's not an argument. You basically posting that just literally meant you didn't watch or listen to anything he had to say. You didn't. The guy who posted that basically is just admitting to us he didn't watch the interview. He didn't care what he had to say. He just wants, people to leave him and his guns alone. And I don't care if you agree with him speaking on the matter. I don't care what you think. I don't care what side of the aisle you come from. But just listening to him speak, and then he talks about, those kids, and he talks about just hearing about the fact that, like, the only way they were able to identify one of the bodies was the shoes she was wearing. That was one of the only ways they were able to identify a body, was that the shoes matched that it was her shoes. The bullets were too big for these kids, and it just tore them up. How? How can anyone just sit there and go and not say a thing? Like, I don't particularly understand that. Like, the caliber of the bullet was too big, and it just shredded their bodies. That is unfucking believable. And like, I'll admit, I cried. I cried at that. Like, how can how can that happen still? But again, it's just oh well, the Dems in this, and oh well, the Republicans in that. It's like, no, we're done. We're so done with that. I'm so done with the political rhetoric. I'm so done with the oh well, the Dems in this and the Republicans in that. It's like, no, we are beyond that now. Like, get your shit together, people. How many more times is going to happen before something changes? It just makes me sad. It irks me. It irks me severely. Yeah, it's kind of the look I was going for. The house is kind of gathered up on there. The building's gathered up on the hill like that. 2 hours and 44 minutes of this. Yeah, so sorry to go on about such a heavy topic, but again, I use my streams to kind of rant nowadays, and it's said it's getting now to where I just don't understand. And I've seen all sorts of different things. I'm trying to gather as much information as I can about what's going on and what are the things happening right now, and and just listening to some people talk about it and how they are trying to defend the actions of this political group or that political group, or why there needs to be more guns or why there needs to be less guns. It's like, I don't know. I was hoping we'd be more all brought together by this, and maybe we could all figure out a proper solution. But I put too much faith into the American people. I put too much faith into these people in this country that I live with, hoping that maybe we could just come to an intelligent solution to where we could all, at least be somewhat happy with how it was handled. But no, it's gotta. It's just gonna take way too long. It's just gonna take way too long to figure anything out, and nothing will ever get done. Nothing will ever get done about it. That's fine. 30 more kids can just die, I guess, or whatever. You know, just don't do anything about it. Why bother doing anything about it? Why bother trying to protect the kids? I mean, it's all right. Another 30 can go die. Cool. Another 30 kids can just go off and die for no real good reason. Yeah, just doing their own thing. They're just in their classroom. It's fine. Just die. It's great. Whatever. Nothing's ever gonna get done here. There'll be more shootings, more whatever. No one cares. It'll just get gridlocked, get bogged down. Nothing's gonna get done. It's just gonna become a political issue that we can't ever agree on. And then whatever, more kids will die. That's fine. Like, that's basically the mindset at this point. Yeah, more kids will die. Whatever. We'll figure it out one day. So as long as X political party agrees with my political party. Like, I'm very big about live and let live, and I don't try to get my nose stuck up in other people's business. If it ain't my problem, and I ain't gonna deal with it. But it's now getting to the point where it's too much to stay silent. It's getting to be too rough out here just to keep my peace and not say a damn thing. Like we're quickly getting to that point where it's just can't hold my tongue no more. Just can't. But like I said, it's oof. Yeah, like I said, sorry, sorry to get all uptight about it, but some days I can't help but feel pissed off. And I guess today is one of those days, especially just talking about it with my sister and going on. And it's like, what the fuck do we do here? You know, and I talk about these kids graduating high school, and I see me, and it's like, I think back to when I was in high school, and it's like, like my sister said, we didn't have to worry about this shit. This is never once a thought, ever. We never worried about this. And then there's today's kids. Just what are they gonna do? And then someday, like, what if I had a family? What if I wanted to have a family and stuff like that? What the fuck are they gonna do in this shit? What are they? How are they? I don't know. Just how are they gonna get by? I mean, how could I even think about bringing children into this world the way it is? How could I think about bringing children into this country with the way it is? I don't want children. I'd love children of my own someday, but like, I don't want to bring them into this. Like, I remember when Sandy Hook happened, that elementary school in Connecticut, and I came home that day, and I'd heard rumblings about a school shooting. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know anything really about what was going on, but I had heard something, and I got home, and my mom was just all upset, all upset. But I'm trying to figure out why, like, what's going on here, and she told me there was all these little babies, little children, my brother's age, that went to school in Connecticut, and they were blown away today. They got blown away. It's like, and then that hits home because when she told me, she's like, they were your brother's age. I'm like, holy shit. It's like, and how do you not take that just a little personally? Like, that's my little brother. I would fight for that kid. He's fucked up a lot. He's certainly gotten under my skin, but I'd fight for that kid. You know, he's like not wanting my Norwegian friend to get hurt. I don't want him to get hurt. I could not and will not be okay if anything were to ever happen to him. And to hear about that, it's like, it fucking sucks, you know? It's like these children his age are just got annihilated today. And why? 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 Why did this happen? And no one's got any good answers, and it's like why these poor little elementary school kids? Yeah, okay, it's a high school. Like I don't want the high school to get shut up, but high schoolers can be kind of dicks. You know, maybe you're in high school and you're getting picked on by them, but like, why in elementary school? Is it just more polarizing? You know, is it? Yeah, it's just that's all I gotta really. I don't know. I just that's all I can really drum up about it at this time. It's that road is way too wide. Yeah, but like I said, it's eh, something's got to give. And what it is, I like. I don't know. I don't know what we can do. I want to do something. I wanna try and figure it out. You know, I want to help find that solution, but I don't know how to get there. Shit. Let me see. Sorry, I just needed a minute to think there. Um, you know, I've been busy doing a lot of that lately. You know, whether it be worrying about women or the world around me, it's hard not to think about things. And everyone's like, "Oh, just don't worry about it. It's out of your control." And it's like I can't not worry about it. It's the world around me. I have to pay it some thought. I unfortunately I have to. I have to pay the things that occur in this world some thought to kind of understand it some, or try to not figure it out, but just try to comprehend why that happened. And there's a lot of things that I can't figure out why they happened. A lot of these events that have been going on lately are amongst them. But it's like, okay, excuse me. Stop yawning. Probably go to bed here soon. What time is it, anyways? 1 a.m. Wow. Time did I get up today? I think I got up about 10:30, 11. I think I set an alarm for 10. Although I did get a lot of sun today. That's probably what it is. Just a little exhausted from the sun, which is fine. Usually that means it was a good day. But um, yeah, just had a very, very long day. So I'll probably be going to bed here shortly, um, just so I can maybe get some actually good, solid sleep tonight. But probably won't be up much longer, which is fine. I'm sure y'all are probably tired of listening to me bitch about everything. But I do appreciate those who do stay to watch and hear what I have to say. Anyways, like I said, I know I don't always speak the most interesting things. I don't maybe speak about the most light-hearted things, and I know sometimes I probably ramble about the same things over and over again, but for those who do stick around and listen, I do truly appreciate you. Y'all have given me a nice outlet to go and express my thoughts and opinions. Um, whether they be correct or not is yet to be foreseen. Um, but like I said, y'all generally give me a nice place to go, and just sit here and create things for you guys, and generally just try to give you a little glimpse into my world and what I'm doing. But on top of that, just share my creations with you, and that's important to me. I'm very big into sharing that, and allowing y'all to have access to that aspect. So I do appreciate it. Howdy, Mal. Welcome to the tail end of this live stream. Busy building whatever this town's going to be on the island of Steinete Bukt. So didn't really get to work on the tanks a lot, which I'm quite upset. Clearly, I'm very, very choked up on the matter. The only just to get back into what we're doing here real quick. So obviously we got the central part of town, the road that comes up and over. So this is kind of the main street, more or less, that comes along. A lot of the traffic does kind of get funneled along the waterfront, which I guess is fine. Not a ton of industrial traffic, because the way on and off this island is, I could put this huge fuck off bridge around here. I don't particularly want one, so I believe there'll be a car ferry that goes across. And so on and so forth. There will be a ferry of some kind that either goes across directly or might go a little further over or wherever have you. But there will be a car ferry that goes. There'll be a couple. I do need to put a small ferry terminal into Trondheim. There'll be one that will take you directly to Trondheim from here. There'll be one that takes you directly across. There are ferries that I wonder if it'd be worth having a ferry that takes people directly to um, Hasvik. It would be quite the journey because you'd be sailing out into. I mean, yes, this is the coastal areas, but essentially, what is on my TV? There's a cobweb on my TV, and a bug got caught up in it. Essentially, you can see the coastline maybe a little bit here, but this is open Atlantic. This is the Labrador Sea. There's not a lot of shelter here. So I don't know if it would be viable to have ferries sail up and down the coast and into the straits here. Um, because this isn't a river and stuff like that. It's just the straits of the island. I don't know what the current would be like through here. I don't know if there'd be a really strong current. I kind of doubt it, just because um, there's no body, there's no river like sending all that water through. But still, I wonder if that would be reasonable enough to send all that traffic or the boat traffic this way on smaller boats with people, cars and people and stuff like that. If that'd be safe enough. I mean, this is open Atlantic too. I mean, that's technically open Atlantic as well. So, yeah, I guess they could. Yeah, yeah, I suppose they could. Sorry, talking about that thought process. I suppose a bridge would be a little more convenient for this place, but again, getting something tall enough that would allow ships to pass underneath it, and it'd just be a logistical nightmare, especially in North Sea type ferries. Yeah, I suppose so. That would probably be the best idea. Um, that's trying to find an asset that exists for that would be next to impossible. But you know, that's for another day. Um, but there's not really a lot of industrial truck traffic here. Like there wouldn't be big tanker trucks hauling crude oil off to other parts of Kaldvann. That's going to be a lot of the tank train traffic that comes through here. Um, that'll pass out of this island and off over the bridge. Um, which yes, I am going to be sticking with the double tracked onto the island. I know it's technically a branch, but with the station that dead ends here, um, I think it would be viable enough, especially to kind of work the trains around each other. Um, so, kind of my thinking. There's a small yard here, which would just be kind of just general oil tank car storage. There is. I could have swore I put one. I was gonna try and put maybe a couple of tracks just to store some extra tank cars elsewhere, just kind of around. Um, but I figure a lot of this area would be for loading out of the respective tanks. Be multiple just loading areas, just so that way tank cars can always be constantly getting loaded and pulling out of uh, separate tanks. I still have to add more tanks. Portland, Maine, I believe, has 30 some odd storage tanks all around, and that was the ones I counted. I'm sure I missed some. Um, I'm definitely positive I missed something, or missed some of the tanks in and around Portland. Um, and this will come straight over here as well. Actually, do I want that? I should just have it be like this. Um, yeah, I do have to add more tanks and such. Um, just more storage, just because I should put an actual tank there as an Easter egg. Actually, I wonder what I have. There we go. Just there, he has cover from the arty, and he is on top of the hill to have good vantage of his enemies approaching. There. I'm just trying to think of, I don't want this town to be so, super huge. I do want it to be small and such. The kind of the feel here, like it's not going to be too much bigger. There will be buildings that come down this side of the hill. They'll line this street. They'll line that street. Won't be really a lot of side streets, and they will kind of get thinner as they kind of come down and around. They will be kind of more dense a little over this way. Um, Over here, I would imagine there being at least some truck traffic, box trucks or whatever have you, um, or just pickup trucks in general, like general just maintenance trucks and such. So um, just kind of general maybe pushing into an kind of the industrialness. And I don't want like heavy industrial, but just more of an industrial feel. I definitely wouldn't be putting houses over here. There will be forest and such that will be along this island. Um, I do need a fisherman's dock out this way, so there'll be a small fishing wharf for the fishing trawlers, which, being predominantly the winds will be driving out of the probably from the out of the west, heading east. I mean, this island does provide some shelter, especially along here. I don't imagine a lot of storms bringing in a lot of waves from here. Um, there will probably be a breakwater somewhere over here to prevent a lot of the big waves from crashing in, if so, that's how it works. Um, there probably needs to be another breakwater that comes out this way, and so on and so forth. I'll look into that. There probably needs to be something to kind of prevent large waves and such. Um, but there needs to be that. I do want to have a fishery or a fish processing facility somewhere on this island. Probably just a small warehouse of sorts. It will be rail served. A couple warehouse wouldn't hurt. And then the station over here. Not entirely sure how I want to tackle that. Um, this is a dead end station. This is, like I said, where the commuter line will terminate. This is serving Steinete Bukt, or Steinete Bukt, and the respective airport for the island, which is just over there. That will have bus service and such. Um, so that's just serving this area. There will be another station a couple miles up the way for whatever town happens to sit over there. Fuck. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not long. Probably should get off, maybe eat some food real quick and go to bed. Um, yeah, plus I've been going for 3 hours and some odd minutes. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the town. Actually, Mal, if you're still around, I gotta show you what we worked on last time. We were working on redoing the train station over here. So previously, this was originally a large. The long-range trains came over to a separate station over here. That's how we got this trench under here to kind of prevent crossings. I took that out. It became a canal, but the canal height was too high compared to that, which is behind a dam, so that wasn't going to work. And I couldn't think of a good way to get this mountain water to drain over here without doing like an underground thing. I said that just seems a wee bit unrealistic. So I put this rail line back. I said, all right, well, let's just take the commuter line and we'll pass it through here. So it goes under the city. And the old train station I had over here is now has two stub end tracks or dead end tracks, or whatever you want to call them. And it has two tracks that pass through. Of course, you need to add like pillars that hold up this building because that's, and like some stairs and shit. But yeah, we have this underground or this like sunken, like half underground, half just exposed train terminal, I guess, that passes through and heads off. Well, it will eventually head over towards that island. That's the final stop on this line, but I don't know, it's kind of interesting to do this, and I love the way this looks when you look at this from the ground. Give me a second here. Like, that's nice. Of course, it needs a lot of clutter, but this is much better. And of course, Sean hates. Yeah, no, and like I want that to be. Oh shit, I need to work on that. Couple of areas of terrain work I need to work on. But yeah, it leads out of here and it goes up at 2.7% grade, but it's only shorter passenger trains to be passing through here. So you don't really need to worry too terribly much about that. And of course I pissed off Sean because I did this on a grade under a bridge, because why the fuck not? Why not? Gotta do the crossover. Then it comes out of the trench here and then comes across a bridge. Which, I need to do some more work. I'm probably going to get rid of this here. Just because that's all like a wall. It's like a block, so I probably will get rid of this. I think it'd be better. But yeah, I'm still working on it technically. I could probably like extend out these tracks just a little bit more. But yeah, like I'm very happy with this station. I'm gonna lengthen these platforms just so we can get some longer trains in here. But I like it, and I like how like the canopy kind of like sits almost on the ground, even though there's pillars behind this. Like that's technically the canopy, but it's a lot of like just kind of hiding it behind and below some shit. You know, taking some aspects of this and just hiding it. Yeah, no, and like it used to have like the two tracks would funnel down to one, and then it would dump into each station's track. It was a little messy, and it just didn't work well. I'm not really good with passenger terminals. I'm just good with regular stations, obviously, but terminals are my weak point. Um, but I think this worked out a lot better. It just looks cleaner, in my opinion. It's not as cluttered or messy. Um, just kind of open up this area, and I'm not entirely sure what to do with it. There's probably gonna be like some just grassy areas growing up through the ballast. Um, Maybe some rail splines that are just placed off to the side. Just general light clutter. But this just looks a lot better. Just a 4-track train terminal. There'll be a platform on this side as well. So I gotta put platforms there. This just looks better, and like even I looked at it from a lot of different angles, and like this being at its old height compared to its new height didn't really block anything. Everything that you see here was already viewable in some way, because I'm very big about like the views, like will the views around the city change? And the answer was no. Like a lot of these buildings, like I think the only things that really changed was like yeah, I was thinking about that, like um, maybe just having some extra cars stored out here. I don't really know, because like it's not really a big space, and it would be a real mess of track to get stuff in there. Um, I could probably think of something like maybe over here, just have some spare coaches just kind of hanging around, um, or something. Yeah, maybe like shorten this platform up a little bit, lengthen out to here, and then put a put a track there for some storage or something. I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that area would work. I mean, most trains do have power on each end, just because a good cab car does not exist for trains. Um, yeah, not entirely sure, but I was very happy with how this turned out, and um, now we have I finally determined like what these two rail lines do. So you have this passenger tracks that go off this way. This is the express line. This is basically, you come out of Trondheim, you go into the airport, and then you're heading onto the main island. This is the express line. Um, there's no stops on this track. It's the next stop, Kaldvann International or Trondheim International. This track, however, is part of the commuter line. There's another passes through the dense town. I should look at the downtown module for inspiration. Oh wait, you have to. Actually, I still have it. I should probably install it actually, um, and actually take a look at that because that would be a good idea for me to take a look at the train terminal because like I said, I've never built one, and I remember seeing screenshots, and yours I liked a lot, and whatnot. So I will be installing that the next day or two because I got to reinstall the Carabasset, and since it's on its own hard drive, I'm not too concerned about it. So I'll go install that. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but this is the commuter line. It comes up here and has a bunch of different stops. Sorgen free, and then it'll stop at Hammeren. Like two more stops, and then the airport, the big airport that is. So commuter trains generally come this way, but the longer kind of bigger passenger trains are just the ones that just take you to the airport. Go. It does eventually link into the commuter line on the other side of this mountain, but it's too much to have the trains dodge around each other and whatnot. So just give them two separate lines. Then you have the freight line. So there's just train tracks here, there, and everywhere. So, but my stomach's rumbling. I'm about to yawn again for the 90th time. I think we've done enough Kaldvanning for the day. 3.5 hours worth. And all I have to show is this. Like, I didn't do shit today. I don't know. I mean, it's something, but it's definitely not much. It was a lot of just working with the terrain and trying to get it to look, behave. But then I gotta come back in and give the houses just some kind of foundation so they don't look like they're Harry Pottering just all the time. So, anyways, y'all, I do appreciate you guys for watching. Do believe the next stream that I will be doing trains related will be Carabasset. Just gotta hit up Ethan and see where he's at with that because I should have received it by now. I don't know why I haven't, but hey, got to do the Kaldvann stream, so we'll set it up kind of daytime. See how that looks. That's pretty. Of course, I still have to do like more of the mountain range over here. Oh, like you do so much work. Like before I go, like just to gripe for a minute. Like I built this island right here, this nice little island, and like yeah, the water's a little too deep and steep in some areas. Like you look at here, and it's like it's just trenched out. You can kind of see it. Like it's just deep and it's trenched. I'm gonna hide it eventually. I just gotta get there and hide it, or maybe like lower it or raise up the height some, which I can do, and then come back and touch up the coastline. But I also don't want to. It took me forever to do this. Like I worked on it. I started it one night. I'm like, I'm gonna build me an island. Said I need to build me an island that looks kind of realistic, and I looked over here. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see what happens. There's like these little inlets and stuff, and I look at some of these islands over here. I'm like, some of them are just a collection of smaller islands kind of made up into one. And they don't have a lot of hills on them, like some hills, but they're kind of flat for the most part. So I'm like, all right, I need to build me an island. So I built me an island, and I'm like, this is where the fuel tanks are gonna go for the oil rigs off the coast. I want to have a bridge that comes across the straits that leads to it for the they fill up the fuel tanks over here. So I built this island. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I did so much work. I'm so happy. And then I looked at the clock and I looked at the window and the sun was up. I started at 11:30. I think I started at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Pitch black. I looked outside, the sun was coming up, the birds were chirping. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it took me that long to build this island. And the answer was yes, yes it did. It took me that long to build this island, and I'm like, it's so bad. Like, it took me that long to do this. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But there it was. I'm like, ugh. So, but I think it'll be nice. I gotta add like a couple more of like the rolling hills, but this will be kind of nice when it's somewhat completed. Some forest around, and um, houses just kind of dotting the way, small little inlets, boats, and you know, I like to. I just love that drawbridge. I don't know why. I do. I really, really love that drawbridge. Just adds to what little this scene is right now. But once it's done, once I get more detail in here, like I think this will be a really cool scene with that drawbridge, and wherever I so happen to build a ferry terminal. But anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I gotta eat. I gotta do some stuff, and then I gotta go to bed. So I will chat with y'all on the next stream, and thank you for watching. Take care.